The 26th day of the month of August. You're welcome to News Morning here on TV3. I am Enyunam Halika. Let's take a look at our headlines. Concerns of vigilantism in Ghana's politics resurfaces as stakeholders demand stronger enforcement of Act 999. Digital traffic enforcement set to begin in Ghana as government targets more than 47 road traffic offences. Also, Gold Board bans export of raw gold from Ghana from September 1 this year. Thank you for joining us this morning. Now, 7 years after Ghana enacted the Vigilantism and Related Offences Act, concerns reign over the effectiveness of the effort to curb political vigilantism. A national policy dialogue in Accra has brought together security agencies, political parties and civil society groups to assess the implementation of Act 999 and find practical ways to prevent political violence ahead of future elections.
National Security Coordinator COP Abdul Razak Osman said although the country has recorded relative improvement in election-related security, political vigilantism has not been completely eradicated. He warned that some vigilante groups are re-emerging under new identities, including community security teams and other informal networks, with recruitment and mobilization increasingly taking place online.
We must not mistake reduced visibility of these groups as complete eradication. A vigilante group is a vigilante group, regardless of its name, uniform, or publicity. We are very much aware that some groups are rebranding as internal security teams, volunteer task forces, or community security initiatives. Others have dissolved into looser and less visible networks that are more complex to track. But if our ability to track people on social media is anything to go by, a word to a wise is enough.
COP Osman called for the depoliticization of enforcement, evidence-based investigations and visible accountability, stressing that the law must be applied fairly and without fear or favor. Executive Director of Election Watch Ghana, Rose Austin, said public confidence in the enforcement of Act 999 remains critical to democratic stability.
We must therefore summon the collective political will, institutional courage, and civic responsibility necessary to confront and expunge political vigilantism from our democratic culture. This requires action by all of us.
Special Envoy to the Sahel States, Larry Gbevulolate, represented the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah.
Vigilantism is a threat to the entire republic, not just a single political party. Our analysis must therefore place the long-term stability of Ghana above any short-term partisan interests. We must formulate concrete, trackable courses of action in the recommendations that we make for the resilience of our democracy, our security apparatus, the judiciary, political parties, and civil society in the face of the threat.
The dialogue is expected to produce concrete and measurable recommendations to strengthen the enforcement of Act 999 and reduce the space for political vigilantism.
Let's still stay a little longer on this as security analyst Festus Abuaji has criticized the implementation of Vigilantism and Related Offences Act 2019, arguing that the country's persistent vigilantism problem is not due to a lack of laws but a lack of political will to enforce them. Now, speaking at a national policy dialogue on vigilantism in Accra, he questioned why 7 years after the passage of Act 999, perpetrators of political violence continue to evade accountability.
If you look at the sequence of events, the act failed right in the year after it was enacted. Act 999 was not necessary. That's a point that I think my predecessors have made. Now, if we want Act 999 to be relevant, then let's deal with the political actors, i.e., there's what do you call them? The secretaries or the national chair. I mean, those who hold political offices within the parties. Let's bring them together. The reason why the laws are not working, it's not technical, it's political. The two main political actors appear to have a sort of gentleman's agreement, a club mentality, that I will not deal with you, so that when you are in power, you don't deal with me. I mean, there is no way of defending the attitude and the mindset and the philosophy of our political actors.
Now, away from that, Vice President Professor Jane Nano Poku-Agyeman has called on Africans to abandon dependency and take greater ownership of the continent's development, saying Africa must move beyond having what Africa we want to building an Africa we work for. She made the call in Kigali, Rwanda, during African Mindset Reset Forum.
Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman said the Africa's development challenges could not be explained simply by a lack of policies, plans, resources, or human potential. She questioned who has historically told Africa's story and who has been allowed to define what Africans can become. According to the Vice President, taking charge of Africa's future requires a fundamental shift from reliance on others to confidence in African expertise, institutions, and capabilities.
What will it take for us to train our children that we know are bright and are capable and are willing to learn? So what is stopping us? And if somebody tells us also, oh, we don't have the equipment, how much does the equipment cost? And how much are we spending to support other people's equipment? So you see, we need to go back to the fundamentals and then imagine something that our Pan-Africanists imagined of a continent capable that can go into negotiations with the proper information, education, the confidence, and the willingness to do what it is that helps our continents to grow and be sustainable.
Professor Nana Jane challenged the argument that Africa lacks the expertise needed to solve its development problems and linked the call for self-reliance to the ideals of Pan-Africanism.
How do we move from becoming a victim of this circumstance to an agent of change? What will it take? Yes, it will take some courage, it will take some sacrifice, whatever, but you need to ensure that you are taking that decision.
Let's do some other stories now, as the Ghana Gold Board has directed all self-financing aggregators to ensure that the gold door purchase an agreement with approved off-takers is refined in Ghana before it can be exported. The directive issued by the Compliance Directive of the Ghana Gold Board on August 24, 2026 takes effect on September 1, 2026 and forms part of measures to strengthen local value addition in Ghana's gold industry. The directive is issued pursuant to Ghana Gold Board Act 2025 and is to read together with the guidelines of the onboarding of on-takers and the conduct of transactions with on-takers issued on July 13, 2026. Under the new directive, SFAs will no longer be permitted to export gold ore in its unrefined state. Gold Board says every offtake agreement or commercial arrangement between an SFA and an approved offtaker must expressly provide for the mandatory refinement of the gold in Ghana before the export. The board also stated that no request to export gold will be approved unless the gold has first been refined locally in accordance with the directive. Gold Board says all refinery must be carried out at a refinery approved or designated by the board and operating in accordance with applicable regulatory requirements. The board has further reserved the right to determine the refinery where particular gold shipments will be refined and to issue additional operational directive governing the refining process. Now to some political stories. The main opposition New Patriotic Party and its flag bearer Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has thrown their weight behind the calls by the minority in the parliament for the government and the Ghana Gold Board to account for the reported losses of 1.7 billion in gold transaction purchases. The party says reported losses have serious complications for the country's development, including road construction, infrastructure delivery, job creation and efforts to combat illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey.
Speaking at a news conference in Accra, the MPP National Youth Organizer Henry Nanabuache criticized the management of Gold Board led by Sami Jemfi and called for answers over the reported losses.
How much of this loss came from foreign exchange differentials? We asked. As the cedi and the dollar moved against each other, how much came from the actual prices which Gold Board bought this gold and the prices at which it was later sold? We deserve to know this as well. 3, and what considerations, what judgment, what analysis informed the management decision behind those transactions? We deserve to know. Ghanaians are not asking for favors. They are asking for the truth about their money before it is taken from their pocket a second time to rescue the very institution that lost it initially.
Nanabuache said the MPP and its flag bearer Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia fully support the minority's effort to demand accountability from the government and Gold Board.
Under the New Patriotic Party, when the NDC were in opposition, through some economic decisions, the Bank of Ghana then, you remember that we were going through some hard times regarding our economy. We lost some 14 million. They branded the Bank of Ghana governor as a criminal. They branded the MPP as a group of criminals. They staged several demonstrations. Today, we are talking about $1.7 billion. And indeed, this loss is already accepted. In fact, what they intend to do is to divert your minds. Sami says it is not Gold Board. Bank of Ghana says yes, it is in our books. That is what they are saying. So there's a loss.
Henry Nanabuache said the party will back the minority in pursuing all lawful means to obtain answers on the reported losses.
We also say this to the minority leader and every member of the caucus. Use every relevant law in the books, every question on the floor of Parliament, every committee hearing, every request for document, every order paper, every point of order. Utilize every relevant tool provided by the standing orders in our Parliament with confidence.
The Speaker of Parliament on Monday, August 24, accepted a motion from the minority NPP caucus over the $1.7 billion loss under the Domestic Gold Purchasing Program, DGPP.
Now we're taking you to the courts now, where lawyers for the former National Signals Bureau Director, Kwabena Idubuahene, led by Samuel Atachua, were compelled to proceed with a cross-examination of the prosecution witness after an attempt to halt the trial was dismissed. Samuel Atachua was seeking the court to adjourn the trial pending determination of the review by the Apex Court's decision against the injunction filed by the Ofuasi Iribe Member of Parliament.
About 2 citizens having earlier indicated they are not going to participate in the hearing during the legal vacation. You finally showed up today, and your attempt to get the case to be halted pending the determination of Kujoko and Nkrumah's review of the injunction was also dismissed. Tell us your overview of what you felt today.
It's very unfortunate that the judge now makes a detour that he will not abide by the repeat application for injunction. Earlier on, he adjourned proceedings when the application for injunction was filed. Now, he's turning around to say that he will not abide by the fact that, the 3 judges should determine the injunction by reversing what single judge did. Was strange to me. The pain of what is this case is that he wants my client to cross-examine the witness. My client is not trained to do that. And I don't want to be seen also to be defying his orders. So that is what has happened. But I believe that it's unfortunate. I thought the judge will respect the fact that the 3 judges should determine the injunction, which was restraining him from continuing with the case. He didn't do that.
So in simple terms, does that mean that the decision of the Supreme Court compelled you to come to court today?
In fact, it was a decision of the Supreme Court coupled with the fact that Honorable Kojo Nkrumah has repeated his motion before the 3 judges, and I wanted to bring it to his attention.
Okay.
And that is what I wanted to do. And if you saw what happened, I brought it to his attention that, my Lord, although the first one has been dismissed, there's a repeat application restraining you from continuing with the case. I said no, he won't.
Now, away from the legal matters, Ghana is set to digitize traffic enforcement from September, with cameras and other technology expected to detect more than 47 road traffic offences. The move is expected to reduce face-to-face encounters between motorists and police officers, while improving transparency and limiting opportunities for roadside robbery and bribery. Now, there's a report by Noura Mohammed.
Motorists in Ghana could soon have fewer face-to-face encounters with police officers on the roads as the government moves to digitize traffic enforcement from September. The Interior Minister Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak says the cameras will be used to detect more than 47 road traffic offences, replacing routine manual checks by personnel of the Motor Traffic and Transport Department.
The traffic tech, how it works is that traffic offences are captured on devices. So you cross a red line, you then receive a text message. You cross a red line at Sawam traffic, and at this time, and this is you, show you the evidence, and then show you what to do, how to pay the offence. If you fail to then pay, then now we'll go after you.
The system will deploy facial recognition cameras, mobile and in-vehicle cameras, handheld devices, and radar systems to capture suspected violations. Director in charge of research and training at the Police Motor Traffic and Transport Department (MTTD) headquarters, ACP Alexander Obeng says, contrary to popular assumption, the cameras will not take away the duties of police officers.
It's a new system that is coming. And it's good that it came up at this time when we are enhancing public sensitization on it and awareness creation. There are many that will be handling the devices up after training. There are many in situ at roadsides. And that's why the law even requires that when the driver is on the road, he should always remember his or her license number, isn't it? So the police will only require your license number. Just go on your routine, but know that processing will continue.
At the Central Control Room, police officers will review the footage and confirm an offence before an electronic notice is sent to the motorists detailing the violation, applicable penalty, and the process to follow. But how effective and feasible can this be? Executive Director at the Bureau of Public Safety, Dr. Nana Yao Akwada, weighs in.
It's something that is being done in other jurisdictions. So it's doable. Even in some African countries, it's happening there. So we should be able to do same. If you roll out a system that, look, today, with my number plate, someone is able to identify who I am, is able to identify where I live, probably able to identify my spouse, right? Now, what is the data protection and access control around this data that the government is going to collect and make it accessible to a group of people?
Government believes reducing direct contact between motorists and police officers will also limit opportunities for roadside bribery and improve transparency in traffic enforcement. Noura Mohammed, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's move on to some other stories now, as the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission is calling for significant improvement in the establishment of the Ghana National Gas Company. Now, the high-level tour of the facility in the Western region, where regulators gained some first-hand insight into the infrastructure need to sustain the national grid. Now, this is a report by Irama Smith.
The tour of the Takrady distribution station at Abuazi was more than a routine inspection. With Ghana's thermal power plants relying heavily on gas, the PURC is scrutinizing the company's capacity to meet rising demand. PURC Executive Secretary Dr. Shafiq Suleiman emphasized that while reliability comes at a cost, the long-term benefits of investment would ultimately lower the overall cost of generation. He also praised the company's recent financial trajectory, urging management to maintain profitability while scaling up operations.
So whatever is required in terms of third-party proliferation of the infrastructure needs to be looked at and protected, because we know Ghana Gas is the sole infrastructure operator in Ghana. They are not supposed to share that with any third parties, and we are building the capacity of Ghana Gas as a nation to ensure that they have all the needed manpower, the needed knowledge, and then we are also expanding the infrastructure, encouraging them to invest more in the infrastructure so that they can be able to sustain the energy sector of Ghana.
Chief Executive Judith Ajoba-Blay stated that the company is already moving to reinvest its profit into efficiency and reliability, also disclosed of a key project on the horizon, being the construction of a third compressor unit, which she says will provide critical redundancy for the system.
But for a gas processing operation, you always have to create redundancy so that when one breaks down, you have. So in that quest, we are almost close to starting the construction of our third compressor. I think we've told you that before, and it's very close. Hopefully by the end of September, we will come and announce that we have begun or cut short for construction of the third compressor to create that redundancy needed for efficient operations. Yeah. And we are ready to expand for the use of gas for industry and for power generation.
The tour serves as a precursor to what is expected to be a critical tariff review process. As Ghana Gas makes its case for adjustment to support the expansion, the PURC is balancing the need for investment against the imperative to keep power affordable for consumers. Irama Smith, TV3 News, Western Region.
And that's our package for you this morning. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyunam. The New Day continues after the break. Were you trained by a military man or something?
No, my dad was
your
in the
dad,
military. Yes.
Your dad was. No, so you would know. Anyone who grew up in a military home, no, it's true.
Where's Archbishop Duncan Williams?
Anybody who knows or lived with anybody from the military. Why are you doing what you're doing? Like, it's very, very uncouth. What are you doing this morning?
This one reminds me of Nanaba likes using that word. Nanaba, very disrespectful. Always insulting me.
No, because
and you have taken after her. Nanaba insulting me. I'm uncouth.
They're not what you know. Because I'm trying to compliment what you're wearing to let you know that the military training in your ironing, your friend is saying, is evident this morning.
Demo. Everybody see the line.
You know what the problem is? Roland is so uncomfortable when he's
compliments. Yes, when you're giving him compliments, you don't receive it well.
You are love stuff.
Let me say good morning to all those who work at the new Tafo Government Hospital. There's a great friend of mine who works there, Aaron Brasso. And Aaron Brasso, the last time I visited the new Tafo Government Hall, I told you that you people, the way the emergency things, we need to get to the Minister of Health so that you get more of facilities to be able to cater for issues at the new Tafo Government Hospital. And that said, all of you work there. The in charge, Lily Wilson. Good morning to you, new Tafo Government Hospital. Lily Wilson, Samuel Ejakun, Dede Mabel, all of you doing great work at the new government hospital. That's a new Tafo Government Hospital. A great friend of mine wants to be the women's organizer again for the Central Town constituency, Yvette Amafa Gbava. Yvette Amafa Gbava, great lady. When you know her, her soul, empathy for community service, social work is just wonderful. Yvette Amafa Gbava. So all those delegates of the NDC who will be for Central Town after the branch, I think they've done branch elections. So all those ones, please vote for Yvette Amafa Gbava, women organizer.
All of you new entrants to the morning greetings list are very
finished,
very welcome. You are not even done.
Yeah.
You are very welcome to Roland's list.
Oh.
It's getting long by the day, but some old ones are also, you know,
Daniel Kwamiamo, I used to work with him at the Jospon Group. Jospon Group of company. Daniel, he's an auditor.
You.
Ewode means what?
You, eh?
You, eh?
Oh, Ewo.
Chale, they said vigilantism is creeping in indirectly.
Yes.
Creeping in. And the National Security Coordinator, as well as a number of security experts, including Colonel Festus Abuaje retired,
and Richard Kumado,
raised key concerns. And I think that we have to discuss that. So yesterday, Shadrach got in touch and so we need to discuss that. And I wasn't surprised. You remember post-2017 when we had a judge in Kumasi attacked and we all looked on. And then also when we had the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election and that violence took place, I was right in the middle, including a number of people as well. And I saw the atrocities. Look, we need to nip this in the bud. We should let the security take its course and not have all these party vigilantes and all those gangs. We need to discuss that today.
And is it true that there's a gentleman's agreement that if NDC is in power, they will not prosecute the MPP vigilante groups, and when MPP is also in power, they will also not prosecute the NDC vigilante groups? All of that we need to take a look at this morning because it's been part of
I don't know about that, but we need to discuss that.
It's been part of the discussion as well, so we need to take a look at that.
Well, I was curious to learn about the act. There's actually an act called Vigilantism-Related Offences Act 2019. Which,
Anti-vigilante.
Yeah, Vigilantism and Related Offences Act 2019. So it was passed about 7 years ago, and its implementation and its enforcement has been called to question. Like we've said many, many times, the laws that are supposed to regulate all aspects of our being as Ghanaians, we have them. The question has always been that of enforcement and whether or not we have the will as a people and the political will to be able to ensure that what's on the books is translated into action. So we'll get into that. But yesterday also, we had some very disturbing news from the Ashanti region. When the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amakwahene, spoke about Galamsey. So apparently, abandoned Galamsey pits are still claiming lives. He counted about 23
people.
23 people, including 11 children.
Yes.
Who have fallen into Galamsey pits and died. Abandoned Galamsey pits and died. And some of them, some of the bodies are still unrecovered.
4 of them,
yeah.
yes, unrecovered.
As we speak.
As at yet, yes.
As we speak. Very troubling numbers. When I first heard, I thought it had happened at once, like 23 people had fallen in. But it's over time. But it still does not take away the fact that it's very troubling news that while we fight the menace of Galamsey and its repercussions on our environment, our health, our economy, we're now having to deal with, even when the Galamsey at a particular site has ended and they've moved, the abandoned pits are still claiming lives.
There's no reclamation here.
It's a loop that doesn't seem to end at any point. So we're going to get into that during the show today. Hopefully, we'll be able to speak to the regional minister of the Ashanti region, Dr. Frank Amakwahene, to give us further insights into this. He put this out yesterday, and I think the information is still trickling in, and we'll bring you more as we go. But we're still in the month of August.
It was Kashami filter.
Kashami filter, Shami natural.
Ni akenye no kunye some duku festival ko hu.
Oh, that was last weekend.
Hey.
No, Agbena.
Then it's not easy. Oh.
Yeah, it's a lot of activities. Okay. I think most people just know about Bashimo, but we don't know about all the many other things that happen. So
there's Chaluati festival now. And
Chaluati has also ended.
Oh, okay. Yes. And the Duku one too is also ended.
Yes, that one has also ended.
Both male and female wear the Duku, and then they...
Yes, and they do processions. And, you know, it's a street procession.
But why do all the men like dancing as women? I want to understand.
I started seeing that when I was a child. Oh, you know, so when I was a little girl, I would go and stand by the roadside to watch the processions. And then I would see men wearing their wives' bras, and it was just for fun. It was to just evoke laughter. Right. It was to make people laugh.
Okay.
Because, you know, Hawaii is a time for joy.
Right.
So in addition to the music and dancing that you see, they do other things that will just make people laugh.
Okay.
So even the women will sometimes wear very outrageous makeup. They'll put
very loud makeup,
you know, very loud, exaggerated, just to make people laugh. So that is why you may see some men dressed up as women.
Dancing like women and all
and
of that.
oftentimes they dress up as particular women. So you know that during Homo, one thing that we do is tell our leaders what they have done wrong during the year. It's custom. So during this time, you can say anything to any leader in the community and you will not get into trouble for it. You can say
but in a comic way.
No. So it is a time to call their attention to the things they have done wrong.
Okay.
And it's also a time to compliment them for the things they have done right. So during this time, you must be honest. You must not lie about things. So you mustn't say your MP did this and that when they actually didn't do it. But if they've actually done it, we create music to chastise them or draw their attention to it. Now, even in their dressing, sometimes if there's a prominent market woman or a woman we know and we want to
draw her attention to something,
sometimes we'll dress up like her. So it is either to praise, to ridicule, to chastise, but it's always for a reason. There's always a reason behind those female outfits you see on men. And these men are very respectable men in the society. I remember as a child, I recognized a pharmacist.
Those who were dressing like that when you were a child?
Well, I noticed this as a child.
Today,
they don't look responsible.
Yes, so we have to put their statement into perspective.
It's very easy to think that they don't look responsible when you see them like that. But let this season pass and you see them. They're pharmacists, they're doctors, they're teachers. They're respectable people in the community. You will be shocked.
We'll observe. We'll keep observing because these days, from what we see, especially on TikTok, like Roland said.
Oh, you mean that's what you're asking about?
Yes.
I thought you were asking about those who dress up as women during the festival.
That's what I'm saying. And these are some of the people we see on social media.
There's a spillage. So from what the people you see on social media dress like, I think that's what they do all year round. Those ones we see them.
That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, better perspective now.
But these days, during the homo, they are the people who are dressing like with the women. That's why I'm asking.
And then they also get a lot of coverage.
Yes, and all their dance moves are like women. And, you know, Ghana's Most Beautiful was in Osu 2 Sundays ago. And I mean, they were all around us. So I just wanted to understand what makes them dress like that and all. That's what I was asking.
As for those who dress up as women, I think that it's a different conversation to have. Those who dress up as women all year round, I think that's what they do.
But then, there are people who specifically do it during the
festival season.
Okay, great.
And the dance moves that look like women, even the men who dress up as macho men do it. Okay. It's just a dance move. It's just a dance move. So she shouts to them. And your lady, Lamle, is it Lamle?
Yes, Ghana's Most Beautiful, Greater Accra Rep. Yes.
We saw her star performance. She won the award for star performance, if I'm right. And she also won the award for best costume.
Yes,
so
best costume.
Let me add her to Roland Walker's morning greeting list.
Okay.
Good morning, Lamile. Now, Lamile.
You greet somebody, say we mean
No, we're adding her to your list. Because your list is always super, you know, like it's super long. Yeah. I wonder.
Edmond Combat of the of the Tema Oil Refinery.
Lord Jesus.
Edmond Combat. Good morning to you. Great work you're doing. Alhaji.
Uncle Edmond, good morning to you. Good morning. I'm just reiterating the greeting.
It's not an uncle, he's a young man. You thought he's an old man. Edmond Combat is a young man. Why is an uncle, Edmond?
Hey, because the way you do that, it's like you only greet big men.
Managing director.
Do you understand? It's like you only greet big men. So that's why I said Uncle Edmond. Man. How old is he? Is he about 40?
No, he's not
my
even
40
uncle
now.
He's
not even 40.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I get it.
Why are you
It's your baby
categorizing?
Baby boy.
Okay, so we're doing big issues. Make sure you stay with us. Solomon has traveled.
Oh.
So Solomon was outside when he petitioned the various institutions. And it looks like Shraj has picked the petition. OSP has picked the petition. Parliament is considering, CID is considering. So, Charlie, you be like that thing. So make sure you join us. We'll have some great conversations thereof.
It's holding water.
And for everybody else. And the conversation about the vigilantism and the creeping in about religious fanatics and the groupings and the narrative needs to be condemned as well. And so I have Sheikh Abubakar Ali Napar, who then says that we need to live as one people as well. But please join us this morning. We're going to have some great conversation this morning, and it's up next.
Of research within the period under review, 23 lives have been lost only because they were going to their farms and fell within pits that were left uncovered by miners within the various areas. These include 11 children whose future has been cut short because someone in his quest for money left a pit uncovered within some of these areas that leads to farmlands, among others. Looking at this problem and with the support of the minister, the National Security, together with the ministry, has started a reclamation effort in order that we will be able to target these uncovered pits that fall within the areas where people actually fall in and drown. I want to assure you, Minister and Your Royal Highness, that the RCC is willing and ready to collaborate with you in making sure that in our time, we are able to bring down, if not completely eradicate, this illegal mining problem that has bedeviled our country. And I believe so well that with this edifice here in the region, it is bringing your services closer to the people, closer to our communities, and most definitely supervision and monitoring will be very effective, even more than we have witnessed in the past. 23 lives have been lost only because they were going to their farms and fell within pits that were left uncovered by miners within the various areas. These include 11 children whose future has been cut short because someone in his quest for money left a pit uncovered within some of these areas that leads to farmlands, among others.
Right, welcome back. And all that the Ashanti Regional Minister was saying is on the back of the reports we received from NADMO, reportedly that 23 deaths from abandoned Galamsey pits in the region described the situation as a major humanitarian challenge. And just last week, residents of Nweneso number 1 and neighboring communities in the Etwima Kwanuma were publicly demanding urgent reclamation of abandoned pits, saying they remained dangerous to children and farmers. And just as the Ashanti Regional Minister reiterated, we've lost 23 people in total, but 11 of them are children and 4 of them are currently not found. Roland Walker is by the dashboard to bring us up to speed with some of the numbers for the year 2026.
Yeah, and the numbers are quite scary, particularly as highlighting only the 23. Perhaps people then will have the perception that it's just an incident, or these incidents are just isolated. Because if you take a look at what the breakdown of those NADMO statistics are, particularly within the period of January this year to about August, we've had incidents of deaths ranging between 54, 25 to this year as well. The incident of deaths or the fatalities ranging from 54 to 56 deaths subsequently. And the thing is that we have the fatalities or the deceased verified, they have been identified, and the incident point as well. And these numbers exclude a disputed incident within the Bogoso-Prestea area. Now, you would find that for many of the times, traditionally, before we had the coming in of the chamfines, as well as the other Chinese-made machinery that now have become the means by which individuals, as well as those small-scale miners, are undertaking illegal mining or galamsey. They used to dig pits beneath the earth. And so you'll find that even in communities, they'll have pits, and they'll use some sort of ropes as well as tied wirings, etc., to be able to track themselves with lighting beneath the earth in those pits. Now, we've had a number of those pits collapsing as well, and in all, following those incidents of the pit collapsing, 39 deaths were recorded. And some of them just fell in, you know, they just caved in as it is. And then also, some of them also fell into the pits. They had been abandoned, no more galamsey activity taking place, and then 39 people just fell into those abandoned pits and they died, 39 of them. In Obuasi, it's quite interesting. There were armed clashes between illegal miners and security forces. And in those incidents, not one time, we had between 7 to 9 people dying. And so those deaths were recorded. Now, when you come in relation to what analysis we're doing for the period August 2025, on the 6th of August, a military helicopter crashed, and we know the incident, 8 people died, and so that's been part of the fatality so far. And then we had abandoned pit cave-ins as well. 23 people died in the Ashanti region, and the sad part was that 11 of these deceased persons were children. So 11 children also just fell in those abandoned pits and they died. In the disputed Bogoso-Prestea area, there was an incident. The figures are still being confirmed. A number of those incidents have been recorded in the Bogoso-Prestea area, which is a big mining enclave. If you know those areas in the Western region, you will also get to know that mining takes place invariably almost everywhere. Between 300 and 200 people died, and that should be a concern for everybody else. In all, the point is, when these incidents are recorded, it also means that cost becomes a big matter. Now, we need to make sure we reclaim. The estimation so far being the amount we need to do these reclamation exercises for at least 5,000 plus hectares of land that has been degraded or destroyed, or mining undertaken illegally and needs to be reclaimed, over $260 million US. You just have to do the conversion by the 10 to 12 cedi to dollar rate. And these, as we're talking about, excludes water treatment and reinforcement structure that is needed. And then when it comes to also the latest estimated reclamation cost per hectare, you need about $48,000 to be able to reclaim a hectare. And I think that whilst we're raising concern about this, the government and through the Ministry of Lands, as well as the allied agencies, particularly headed by the Honorable Ama Kofi Boa, are also making the effort to make sure that they are able to reclaim and create employment out of these as well, so that we reclaim the vegetative cover of the environment. And then before November 2025, the estimate was about 38,000 for the reclamation, but now estimated at 48,000. So what is available for government to be able to fund? And then we know that there's an enforcement team that's been put together in the name of NIMOS. It's a composition of military personnel as well as other security personnel as well. And so far, with up to by 2026, this year, 150 million Ghana cedis has been spent. And the expenditure allocation particularly ranges from food, administrative expenses, operational activities like buying fuel, and then undertaking wrecking, reconnaissance activities. And this is a big problem for us. So the question to all of us is government handling Galamsey very well? You have to answer that. In my estimation, no, we need to make sure we get back to the center and then prosecute people, take people off Galamsey, or provide a better means by which they can also get some related means by which they can earn a living. But the jury is still out there now and then also.
Roland, how much money did you say? We could just go back to the slide on the reclamation cost. Okay,
so the estimation so far now is that we will need 264 million, and that's plus, to be able to do the estimated cost of reclamation in a land size area of 5,500 hectares plus. For each hectare, it used to be an estimation before November 2025 that you would need $38,000. So if you and I put a company together and we want to go and do reclamation before November 2025, this would have been the cost. Now it's estimated at 48,000 hectares. And the reclamation also means you have to do the filling in, you plant trees, etc. And that's the concern. And so far we haven't been able to raise this. Already the incident points are ongoing. People are still mining. You go to, if you're going to Kumasi, particularly the Konongo area, you'll find people mining along the road. Yet we have politicians, even ministers, as well as others who have been appointed by the John Dramani Mahama government, who would drive in their four-wheel drive, see the Galamseyers, nothing is done. Just about 2-3 weeks ago, we're talking about just in the western region, an incident or an excavated area where Galamsey is taking place, and it's just about 200 meters or so, about even 50 meters from a police station, and it had to be brought to the media, highlighted before something was done. So the question is, are we doing this? Ken Ashigbe is on the neck of the president to say that you need to do something about this. You've taken people off, let's say, mining in the forest areas, but people are mining even in their cocoa farms, in their own land-size areas, you know, on their family lines, in their houses. People are now digging houses. Of course, they are walled, and so nobody's seeing, but you cannot say you don't see. Right. You know, if you were building on it, the assembly would need to give you permits before you're able to do this. So something is wrong. The enforcement of the regulations or the laws are just not working. And why are they not working? Because those who have been appointed by the president to oversee this are just not doing their work. We have municipal, metropolitan, and district chief executives, right? MMDCEs, and they represent the president. They have security committees, composition of the police, immigration officers, and allied agencies in there.
We have RECSEC,
and
Regional Security
RECSEC
Council,
as well, and we're just not doing the enforcement.
Right. That's why it's imperative that we extend this conversation this morning, and rightly so, by an environmental civil society organization called Arocha Ghana, represented this morning by Daryl Bosu, who's the Deputy Director of Arocha Ghana. Daryl, good morning to you if you can hear us.
Good morning to you, Nansuko, and also to Roland. I believe you are both great.
It's Cookie talking to you at the moment, by the way.
Yes, it's great to be here as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Daryl, it's great that you have joined us this morning, but your organization, you have consistently called for stronger enforcement of Ghana's mining laws. These numbers that Roland has reiterated this morning, and especially the death toll of 23, including 11 children, are these numbers coming to you as a surprise?
I must say that this is not for me surprising at all. Because for a long time, we've tried to collate all the reports from media, from NADMO, and all of that from as far back as 2010, and right up to August last year. And the evidence is that a lot of Ghanaians are dying either in the pits or they are dying as a result of collateral damage from people who leave the pits abandoned and children falling, people going to their farms falling. And from already what has been reported, we count nothing less than 720 people reportedly dying from either the pit collapsing on them or maybe on the side, also falling into a pit. So this information for me is not surprising. Now, the other thing we also need to know about this information out there is that it is not all of the fatalities that are being reported. We know of many fatalities in several regions, particularly in the eastern region, around the Chebi enclave and all of that, where people die, it is kept under wraps and nobody gets to know about it. It's not even recorded because most of the people who die are known to be foreigners. They come from Burkina Faso, they come from other places. So it's not even recorded and considered in the records that we put out there. So I think that a lot is happening. Ghanaians are losing their lives. Those who decide to go to the pits, some of them practically have accepted the risk. Some go and they know that, they might not even come, they go prepared. But there are those who are not part of this illegal activities, who just want to have access to their farms, want to have access to water, want to enjoy the environmental space around them, and they found themselves caught up in this web of impunity that the miners are leaving behind. So I think that the state has consistently ignored the dimensions of bricks that Galamsey is presenting to us. I think we should go beyond discussing the economic benefit. I don't even want to talk about that anymore because if you look at the other implications, the cost to our health, the cost to our water bodies, the cost to our environment, and the associated fatalities and health risks from the mining activity, I don't think that we have any justification to even be glorifying how much we make out of the gold. And this tells you, and from the report, this information you're giving in terms of 23 people dying, children, and all of that, it's actually the reality of the impunity, the neglect, and the kind of recklessness the state has associated when it comes to treating the issues of Galamsey. Anytime we say Galamsey is an existential threat, this is exactly what we mean. Putting our food systems at risk, our water at risk, and even our lives at risk. So, and that's okay. I think that nobody should be surprised because the state itself doesn't care. They like to turn out and put out these numbers. But the question I would want to ask is, to what extent does these numbers feed into next policy processes and drafting? Nothing. Never. It doesn't. They don't care. Things will go on as expected and normalized, as we have seen Galamsey over the period become normalized so much that, like you said, right before police stations, mining is happening. And it has become the daily routine of police or enforcement agencies who are supposed to prevent crime, rather to frequent these mining areas and more or less encourage them. And as there's somebody who say, they take their social cuts and then go away. So it is, for me, an issue of the state not prioritizing the lives of citizens to the extent that people are dying in the pit, but nobody is using that to shape the way we even say we are dealing with an illegal and an illegal activity like Galamsey.
Okay.
And that's why we see it escalating, Carbon region, and we're only talking about the Ashanti region. Let's talk about the eastern region. Let's talk about the western region. We don't talk about these things at all. So I think this, for me, is not surprising, and I think we should really need to take this up very seriously.
Okay. Please hold on for us, Daryl, as we join Zambaga Rufai Samino, Director of Communications for the Ministry of Lands, to this conversation. But I'm told that we are trying to raise him on the telephone lines. But before we do, my next question to you, Daryl, would be this. That after a piece of land is designated for mining, or after a pit has been dug for mining, whose responsibility is it to reclaim the land? Is it the miner? Is it the person to whom the concession belongs, or it's government's responsibility to reclaim the land?
Yeah, so as the law exists and the minerals and mining laws and other regulations that come to this, it is the responsibility of the miner to reclaim the land and return it to functional use after. And that is why, if you look at the large-scale companies, they are made to post a bond. And this is a bond where the status is set aside for government to do reclamation if the company fails to do so. Unfortunately, until last year, small-scale miners had no obligation to do the same. They will present a rehabilitation plan, but the EPA and the Minerals Commission never compelled them to really do reclamation. So it was as and when they chose to, and not really by obligation. It is only last year, I think last year, where we had the EPA saying that they are changing the rules for the small-scale miners as well. But I think the simple answer is that the polluter must pay. The person who is digging the pit, the person who is destroying the land, has the responsibility, and that has been it's not just something I'm saying, it has been the overriding principle of environmental resource utilization and resource recovery, as well as reclamation of land. If you are the one polluting the land, then you must be responsible to reclaim it and to restore it. But the unfortunate aspect is that because they are illegal miners, nobody is keeping tabs of their records, where they are coming from, how much work they've done, and even when they're in the community, we know them, we associate with them as relatives and all of that. But nobody compels these people to take the land when they are done. You heard of an incident somewhere last year in the eastern region where a child died in a pit in a community. I remember the honorable minister for the regional minister went and said, we are going to make the person pay. As we speak, I'm not sure they were able to find the miner and say, you caused this risk, the liability is on you. So the person who destroys must pay. But even with that, the thing is that, look, the kind of damage we are talking about and what we see the ministry doing is good. But I always say that it's just a tip of the iceberg. We are nowhere close to really doing very substantial work to cover all the pits that have been left abandoned. We have a lot of work to do. It should have been right from the beginning where a miner is given a concession, that the responsibility to reclaim should have been immediately, even before they finish their work. But that hasn't happened. And here's the case: we are struggling to even find the illegal miners. They go and work by night, they move on, and you can't even find them. So these people have no responsibility to reclaim. All they care about is taking the gold. And I know that there's a reason why most people choose not to reclaim the land, because it will really include or integrate the cost of land restoration and reclamation. You realize that mining is not as lucrative as it is. And that is why most miners find it very easy to run away. Or the least chance they get, choose not to reclaim the land. This reclamation that we are doing now, it has become a public cost to all of us. When the people have made their business, they've made their money, and they are gone, which should not be the case.
Right. All right, Daryl, please hold on for us as we join our other guests.
Yes, we've been joined on the phone lines by the Director of Communication for the Ministry of Lands, Mr. Saminu. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Now, this information is not new. Prior to us hearing from the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amwakuhene, about the reported 23 deaths this year, we've heard from organizations like Arocha Ghana telling us about the effects, rippling effects of Galamsey, including the pits which are abandoned after the Galamsey activity is done and the persons have moved on. And regular people in the community, towns and villages are falling in and dying. Is this information which is, has come, are you aware as a ministry about what's happening with the pits left unattended and people dying?
Yes. First of all, let me say good morning to your cherished viewers. This information is not something that is very new to all of us as Ghanaians. Yesterday when I was speaking to your people, I made it abundantly clear that if you see a pregnant goat in the market, it means that there is a pregnant problem in the house. Once we are seeing these signs, we all know very well that that is the repercussion of illegal mining activities. And so it is not something that is very new to any Ghanaian, and it is not also very new to the ministry. But the reality is that in as much as we acknowledge that this is the problem that we are facing, it is the reason why the sector minister has been emphasizing on daily basis that the fight against illegal mining is a collective responsibility. And aside that, you would have realized that there has been some concerted effort to reclaim some of these damaged lands, across parts of the country by the sector ministry and at the same time agencies that are willing to support. But the damage has been so extensive to the extent that it would take the entire nation, particularly in affected mining regions and mining communities, to say that enough is enough. We must all collectively make a conscious effort to redeem the land and to also recover our forest area.
Can you tell us specifically the steps you are taking towards reclaiming some of these lands? Because time after time we hear about the dangers of, the after effects of Galamsey, particularly this problem of people falling into pits. You have just said that the ministry is doing or is taking some steps towards reclaiming the lands. That is good to hear, but if you could give us some particulars, what exactly is the ministry doing to claim these lands? And if you could tell us some specific areas where work has already begun, that would be great.
All right. So there are multiple approaches to the reclamation effort. And then there are also various phases being rolled out as far as the reclamation is concerned. So you have some of the regional coordinating councils also making frantic efforts to support the endeavor. Aside that, the Minerals Development Fund, which is led by Dr. Hanabisu, is also pushing gradually in some of the regions to reclaim parts of the land that have been damaged. And then the minerals, the ministry itself, with support from some agencies, is also helping to reclaim some of the land in Western, Ashanti, and parts of Eastern region. Now, apart from the agencies that are also helping, we've had situations where some of the large-scale private mining companies have also helped. So you have Newmont, for example, also helping to reclaim parts of the land. So it is a concerted effort, but Ghanaians are not seeing this so much because of the level of damage and devastation that has been caused to the land by the same Ghanaians. And that is why this kind of education that we are doing is very important. And those who are responsible for these damage caused to our land and our forest reserves, who are watching or are listening to us, they must understand that our survival as a country is heavily relying on the healthy nature of our environment. And so any damage caused to the land or the forest or our water bodies, it is also a damage being caused to the lives of Ghanaians.
All right, sir. I think you're right when you say that it's difficult for us to see the steps that are being taken, and you say it is because of the extent of damage. But I was hoping you could speak to some specific areas where these reclamation efforts have already started. In which areas have you already started work?
So, for example, in the Western region, the ministry is doing reclamation, about 800 acres of land being reclaimed in the Elembele, district, which is the home, yes, specifically. And then you also have over 800 being reclaimed in Ashanti region, parts of Ashanti region. Some of the, communities are very known. We also have the Minerals Development Fund also doing some reclamation in the Western North region. And then parts of Eastern region too, some lands are also being reclaimed. But like I said, they are in phases, and they are also in multiple folds. So until some of these reclamations are done, then cumulatively we are able to calculate and then determine how much of the lands that have been reclaimed, and we can report appropriately and accurately. But at the moment, because they are being tackled in multiple phases, we need to take our time to understand the level of coverage that has been done in terms of the reclamation effort. But at the moment, we are not able to do that. If you have realized the past week, NIMOS has been monitoring some of these reclaimed lands, because any attempt to give space, these illegal miners will revisit the place, because the understanding is that any area that has been mined and abandoned, once reclamation is done, it is possible that they are able to get gold over there again. And that is why NIMOS is also helping in that direction. So you would have realized the past week that areas that are being reclaimed, NIMOS are positioning their men there to protect the reclaimed land.
All right. Before we let you go, we have just a minute to wrap this conversation up. Exactly how are we funding these reclamation efforts? We've seen some very staggering numbers this morning on our dashboard about how much it costs to reclaim a hectare of land. How are we funding it?
So, Minerals Development Fund, the mandate is through infrastructure development within the sector. And so it falls within the domain of the minerals, it falls within the domain of the Minerals Development Fund to also help in this direction. But apart from the Minerals Development Fund, like I mentioned, Newmont has also been doing some work, has done some reclamation, which is a private large-scale mining company. And then there are other agencies that are also helping in that effort. And then some of the regional coordinating councils themselves, in partnership with some private, companies, are doing their, bits and pieces here and there. But cumulatively, when they are done, then we are able to calculate that. That is when we will be able to report. But my sister, let me tell you that evidence on the ground is suggesting that at least government is not merely talking about the fighting against illegal mining, but indeed winning the war through various approaches. And that also includes these reclamation efforts.
All right, thank you.
So the country has moved to a sustained effort and restoration model in terms of the battle against illegal mining.
Thank you, Mr. Saminu.
Thank you very much. Daryl, I wish I could come to you with more questions, but we've run out of time. Please do forgive us, because you're still on the telephone lines, but do forgive us. In due season, we'll come back to you with more questions. Thank you very much. Daryl Bosu, Deputy Director, Arocha, Ghana, as well as Mr. Saminu from the the Lands Commission. Thank you so much. Now remember to pick up your day with the milky shortcake available everywhere. Milky Way, the rich, smooth taste of Peck milk shortcake, which is available everywhere. It's pure delight. Get some for your friends and family. We take a quick break. When we return, the big issue will be underway.
This is the old way. Let me show you a new and a better way. EduPack. EduPack? Yes, EduPack. A GS-approved and supported initiative for all first-year students going to SHS by Prospectus Ghana Limited. Now you don't need to go to the market. All your trunks, mattresses, pillows, including plastic chalkboards, are all waiting for your child at the school. Note, all our wooden chalkboards are being changed to plastic ones to avoid bed bugs. Just register, and on your opening day, carry your small belongings, provisions, into a small bag and go to your school.
You can also register by dialing *713*821# following the prompts, or you can visit www.edupackgh.com and tap register. You can also register at any ADB branch near you at a very affordable price. EduPack, approved and supported by GS.
Hey, so mommy, who is going to do my wedding?
very educative enough, just particularly knowing that for abandoned pits and areas which have been mined, whether legally or illegally, we've had particularly individuals falling into pits. And you know that before the introduction of the Chinese-made machines for mining, galamsey, now again mainly illegal mining, we used to have our folks in the various mining communities go dig pits, and pits that will take years to put together or build or to excavate. They even created various corners in the pits, use mining lightings, etc., to be able to go through underground to mine. And subsequently, we've had over the last few years, if not decades, the introduction of the surface mining illegally, and now we have individuals now falling into those pits. Big concern. You know, as we have the deaths now recorded, as we took you through, it also means that we need to put all the matters into perspective and ask the questions like we did. The government's commitment towards mining, and Ken Ashigbe, the rest of the media coalition, and everybody else in civil society raising questions about that commitment and what needs to be done. And I made examples. You're going to Kumasi, around the Konongo area, you'll find that mining is being undertaken on the side. You have all these big politicians in their four-wheel drives just looking on, and many of them are appointees who should be cracking the whip. Even beyond them, as visitors, we have various appointees who have been appointed to manage the various metropolitan municipal areas, and then district as well, and even more importantly, the regions. They have security committees, they head them, they coordinate, and they look on. Something is wrong, right? The commitment to fight galamsey is just not apt or to the optimum. And despite the effort of the Minister for Lands, we still have the various individuals who have been appointed not doing what is right to make sure we have everything going well. Simon Perez, you're based in Tema, you're celebrating your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Simon Perez. We also know that a number of activities are ongoing. Yesterday, we have individuals who will be vying for national position of the MPP, going to pick up their nomination forms. And you know, there's usually a lot of bars or razzmatazz that tends to accompany that. This morning, by 10 a.m., I believe 9 a.m., up to about 11, we're going to have one of the lead individuals who has been supported across the rank and file, at least for some of those who tend to represent the MPP, Boache Ejako, going to file his nomination form to make way for his chairmanship bid. Okay, so rather it's the filing of the nomination forms. Yesterday also, we had one of the most vociferous young people, Adenta Kumi. He goes by the formal name Albert Ababio, picking and then submitting form to contest for the National Youth Organizer position. Alfred Thompson is also going for the position of treasurer for the MPP at the national level. And that dovetails into our conversation. You listen to Adenta Kumi saying that they are not going to leave anything to chance, no picking of ballot boxes, etc. Because alongside, there's been a big meeting, and that meeting of security expert led by the National Security Boss, etc., made a revelation. Despite the Anti-Vigilante Act that we have, apparently the political parties and stakeholders seem to also engendering the mushrooming of their own groupings, security groupings in the name of taking care of them. And national security is worried. They've not been visible, but they're on social media by way of some level of individual actions, and they're fanning that. Should be a concern for everybody else. And so we'll discuss that. I have Jabuntie here, Dr. Joshua Jabuntie Zato of Sisala East as well. and the Africa Policy Lens, also of the University of Ghana. He's right here. Good morning to you, Jebuntie.
Good morning, Roland. Good morning to see you.
Good to see you.
Yes,
Good
yes.
to see
This
you.
morning, there's a story coming from some journalists in the Upper West. Apparently, students who were supposed to participate in the sports festival taking part in Accra could not participate.
Oh, why?
Lack of money, lack of funding. Are
they a group or they're coming from one school?
No, like the Upper West team. And so I'm reading it from some sports journalists in the region, and I think that it's unfair because I wasn't a sportsman, but if somebody is a sportsman, we should be able to help them to achieve their skills. We should be able to help them. And if you know how these regional teams are formed, usually they compete throughout the whole year until finally they summon a team. And I hear the team was actually in camp, and then this has happened. I hope and pray that it's not too late, that we can still get them to come and participate in the sports festival. So whoever is in charge, please. And also, I also appeal to the people, the policymakers who in the region, if you have the resources and the ability to help these kids, let's help and make sure that they come and participate in the...
So they're supposed to come and participate in the games in Accra?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I think it's happening in Pram or somewhere. Yes, yes.
Okay, that's possible.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that there's confusion. Either the football team has come, others cannot come, others, or they are saying that some should go back, others should come. Either way, the sports journalists put it down to the lack of what? Funding. Yeah. So I hope that the people responsible can help to make sure that they are not left
Great.
out.
Not only Black Stars and the rest.
Exactly.
We need to make sure that
These
young
kids.
people who are interested in sports also get their due as well. And then I have Hamza Sohiyini. He is a lawyer by profession, practices the trade. He's also an entrepreneur. Good morning to you, Hamza Sohiyini, alongside being a politician.
Good morning. I'm not an entrepreneur.
Okay, he's not an entrepreneur. I apologize
Good morning to you, and good morning to my brother, Dr. Zato, and of course our production team and our cherished viewers out there.
Okay. We'll also be joined by Kingsley Ofosun Tiamwa. He's with the MPP's communication team, but Adib Sani, a security person, also will be joining us. And now let's take a watch. The National Security Boss raising these concerns.
We must not mistake reduced visibility of these groups as complete eradication. A vigilante group is a vigilante group, regardless of its name, uniform, or publicity. We are very much aware that some groups are rebranding as internal security teams, volunteer task forces, or community security initiatives. Others have dissolved into looser and less visible networks that are more complex to track. But if our ability to track people on social media is anything to go by, a word to a wise is enough. Again, mobilization has moved online on social media, encrypted chats, local disputes, private security arrangements, or other informal channels.
So vigilante groups still existing underground, raising concerns. And already many of you, Agongo Roja, I see you as well, Michael Chikata, Awal Mohammed, Gideon Alale, I also see you, Nania also has joined us. Neo Dati Mills is watching us from Finland. Prince Nania York is a great guy. Obrimpon Kaba, Samuel Kati. Solo is out of town, so he's not joining us. He also says that he will not do stream. If he has the opportunity, he will. He's out of town for some business as well. So it should be a concern. So we should be worried, shouldn't we?
Of course, we should be. And I think that many of us were hopeful that it is becoming a thing of the past, especially when it comes to political party vigilantes. But we must, first of all, trace the root causes of many of these things. It has to do with the political rhetorics that we run as politicians. And you give a very good example in your introductory notes when you reference one of the NPP aspirants for National Youth Organizer, something. His name is something Adenta. I can't seem to remember. But I also listened to excerpts from his engagement with the National Executive Committee of the party, and it was quite worrying. I have said on many other platforms that one of the challenges facing this country has to do with the kind of political rhetoric we use, especially when we are gunning for positions, be it at the party level or at the national level. We seem to think that the only way to get attention or get recognized by party foot soldiers or sympathizers of a political party is to demonstrate how firebrand we can be through violence or violent rhetoric. And when you do this, naturally there are those who will be attracted, especially those who may not have the benefit of formal education and who also want to contribute to any political party. You become a rallying point for them because they know that this is somebody who can identify with their kind of politics, and we will put them together to engage in acts that are clearly unacceptable. And so we must not just be concerned about the groups. We must also look at the root causes. The political commentary, we must begin to actually sanction it. The laws are there, either in relation to vigilantism or even in relation to responsible speech. And that is the reason why it is important for us to take these things seriously, because it is about the democratic sustainability of our republic. And regardless of your partisan persuasion, that must be your foremost objective as a practicing politician. Roland, if democracy is not there, we all cannot sit on this platform. And so we must appreciate that quite apart from the fact that we are privileged to be at the national forefront in terms of our political discourse, we must also manifest exemplary lives so that others can emulate. The only way to contribute to political party is not through violence. The way to contribute to political party activity is not through violent rhetorics. We must check it. Okay. Again, it is important for us to understand that I have raised this issue, not just even in the political party fields, but also largely it came up during the issues of illegal mining, where those who were told that we were told that had licenses to mine were able to organize their own internal security to be in charge of protecting their mines. And many of us raised the red flags that if the state is granting licenses to people to mine, the responsibility of security must necessarily be on the state as well, so that you forestall the implications of the so-called companies taking the security of the protection of their mines into their own hands. Because those they are going to recruit are not going to be police officers or military men. They are going to be people out there that they will train under the guise of private security and put firearms in their hands. And if care is not taken, when they veer off and begin doing issues of illegal mining, it becomes extremely difficult for you to control it. And so it is not just within the fold of politics. Even if you look at the fold of commerce, especially in the mining industry, it is coming up strongly. And I'm glad that the National Security Coordinator appears to be on the job. He knows what is happening. The transformations that are taking place, he appears to be abreast with the transitions as far as vigilantism is concerned. But this is not just a job for the National Security Coordinator alone to do. It is a collective responsibility. Those of us who communicate for party, we must demonstrate some level of sensitivity in terms of our commentary. Those of us who are gunning to lead political parties must indicate strongly that political relevance is not one rooted in violent political rhetorics. It can be rooted in deep intellectual capability. It can be rooted in sexy principles that people can identify you with. It must be rooted in love for Ghana, not simply on violent political rhetoric. As for the vigilantism, it is not peculiar to one political party, I must confess. In one way or the other, all political parties have had some kind of relationship with it. The NDC has since moved on. Other parties, I believe, are also struggling to move on. But if they are not careful, violent commentary, like I earlier on indicated, is one that will take them back. Because we saw it, Roland, and I think that I'll conclude on this note. We witnessed it in the past, where documents were released prior to 2016 general election, that people were attempting to assault on the pillars of our democracy. We saw all manner of vigilante groups in 2016 when we thought that we're almost done with it. And to the extent that victory was secured at the back of that, they can be forgiven to think that they can still continue on that tangent. And so it is important as a republic that we begin to deal with these issues decisively. And I only hope and pray that when the National Security Coordinator and his outfit, if they begin acting, it will not be given political branding. It will be seen as an effort intended to protect our democracy and to ensure that we have a very stable country to do what we know best, either in terms of commerce, in terms of politics, or whatsoever. The most important thing is that we must all come together, regardless of our partisan persuasion, to ensure that we nip this thing in the bud.
Well, Dr. Zato, there has to be a key consideration. Why will individuals, we've seen NDC MPP double in this. Now, there's even the dimension of the mining, the illegal mining areas also coming in, where those who tend to manage theirs. Is it a breakdown in trust for the security apparatus, or is rather the inability of the security apparatus to clamp down?
Thank you. Before that, if you don't mind, I'll just give an update on what I said.
The sports people.
Yes. Apparently, the district, they competed in June, so they selected their teams, the regional team to come to Accra. The team camped in Wa, and I'm just told that we were told yesterday that they couldn't go with lack of money, so they sent. We were told 62 out of the 177 could go, so the rest were told to go back home.
Oh.
And that the competition takes place tomorrow. So.
And the rest are not here?
No. So they yesterday go home, and they are supposed to participate in football, volleyball, netball, athletics, basketball, all the other things. So that is the state of it now. So once again, I'm pleading with everybody concerned. Those that have been sent home, it's such a big disappointment that they try to get them home. It's good for them. Okay. Thank you for that.
Yes.
But yes, look, if you remember, Roland, you and I were here when Kenel Boa, the former NEMO's guy, told us that on their way to a Galamsey site, they were shot at, and that the amount of weaponry, the power, the force that was coming to them was so much so that the Ghana Armed Forces under the command of a colonel had to retreat. They had to retreat. You remember that?
Yes.
They had to.
For which we had even the MP or the Sunafu South.
I want you to, that thing still is seed in my mind because it tells of a story that if the commander of, if a colonel of the Ghana Armed Forces with his men had to retreat from far coming inside, then I told you that it was dangerous. What is happening is that, and I'm saying this, I want to link the two. We've been told, again, and there's documentary evidence that almost all the people are behind Galamsey are powerful men and women in this society. That almost all these people are strongly connected politically. Remember the report that went to Parliament saying that there was powerful MPs that were also participating. And Hamza made a point that linked it. These people need security to protect their concessions, to what they have. They don't go to the police. They don't go to the Ghana Armed Forces. Where do they get the guns? Where do they get the power to protect them? They go to people. I don't know whether you understand the network. So if you can't go to the police, you can't go to the army, then you have to buy pump guns, you have to buy weapons for your own security to protect your concession. Now, these are men that you've now trained, armed to the teeth to protect your What happens when that concession closes? What do? They already have guns, they already know how to shoot, they know how to kill. What do? Secondly, if you are a powerful political exposed person, I would say, and you are contesting for parliament, and you have this concern, you have this men, it's not as if they are not switches. Not like a switch you can just switch. Okay, only take care of my Galamsey. And no, they are going to be people, your people. They are going to protect you on the campaign platform at the coalition centers. So I want you to see the link. So National Security Coordinator, yes, please. If you are serious about this, and if you want to do this, that is where you start. The blatant disregard and the naked and explicit way Galamsey is done is the biggest threat to our internal security today, not political vigilantism. I'm just being honest. If you are serious about internal security and democracy in this country today, look no further than the Galamsey site. We are told some of them are foreigners. We are told some of them, and they are all armed. They are all armed to the teeth. Though it's not as if after the Galamsey assignment, they will simply walk to a police station and hand over the weapon, right? No. It's not as if when they get the money, everything, because then they get the money, they have to also protect themselves from other people. That underground of Galamsey becomes the feed. So Galamsey is not only killing us through our food, the Galamsey is not only killing us through our fish, Galamsey is not only killing us by destroying our rivers and forests, it's also directly killing us and to kill us through bullets. So that is what I'm saying, that Mr. National Security Coordinator, yes, he's my uncle. He's a Salaman from Gulu. So, and also Hamza's in-law. So that's why he didn't say big like that. Please, there is a way to deal with this. Start somewhere. And the place to start is what? Is to try to retrieve these weapons from Galamsey sites. If you don't do that, whatever you are saying becomes just mere rhetoric.
Mere rhetoric?
Mere rhetoric, because where would those guns go?
There's a question I asked that we're looking on, even the politically exposed persons, particularly when they're in the opposition, that's when they tend to, you know, and so when they come to power, then they try to mainstream them into national security. It's been going on for I think 1.5 decades now. Is it because there's a distrust in the national security establishment, particularly if they are in opposition or they feel that they are in these isolated, before we're coming in with these subjective matters of Galamsey incidents?
There are two types, and I think we can understand type. One type is somebody contesting for parliament. He gets some boys around him to help him campaign. Most of these guys are there to make noise. Most of them are not armed, and we've seen that at political rallies, right? The person wins power, then helps these people to get the police service. That is, I don't want to say it's a normal, it's the normality, it's the routinized things. They still go to the police, they go to the training, they become formal agents of the state. You understand? There is that aspect. I'm not saying it is the right thing to do, but most young people see that as a route to get an allotment or it isn't to go into the police. That happens. And at the end of the day, the thing, let me say the good thing about that is that they come under a formal structured system. Yes. It doesn't matter which politicians send you to Ghana Police Service. You are going to respond to the chain, the command and structure.
Command and control.
It doesn't matter which politician took you to the Ghana Armed Forces. You're going to respond to the command and structure. So they can control you, and they're not going to give you a gun. You understand? That is there. So for me, that part, it becomes sometimes that is how some people, especially from poor places, people who don't have connections and networks, that may only become the only way by which they get into some of these services to take care of their families. I am not entirely against that, even though I wish that they would have to do that. My point then becomes, the reason is that when people are operating in the darkness, like these people operate in the open glare, we see them, right? You see them, or you can say that, okay, this way the guys running, following Mr. Sohoyene, these are his boys, he's helped them to their system. So we know, we can make that. But the guys in the bush, we don't know them. The guys in the bush, we don't know. And those guys in the bush, their allegiance is not directly to the state. It's to the man and woman whose concession they are protecting. Do you understand that? It's to the man and woman who is there. And they also know that what they are doing is illegal and they are carrying deadly weapons. Precisely because of that toxic combination of illegality and weapons, we have to be worried. You asked a question earlier on. Now, come to the political parties, and we can go and talk about political violence that have been visited on a lot of politicians. We can talk about what happened to Sam George. We cannot talk about others. We can talk about the shootings. And recently, I think the latest one is what happened to Honorable Awakumsum during the
pepper spray incident at
where she was knocked out. Yes, we can talk about that. There is something that happens in all the incidents. It seems that members of the opposition parties are almost always the victims. In every incident that you can go back to and look at it, it seems members of the opposition or minority parties are almost always the victims. That raises a question. How come and why do we make opposition parties feel so, should I say, insecure or feel so difficult that they had to do this or they are always at the receiving end? Why? Again, to my uncle, the National Security Coordinator, this is one of the things you need to do. You need to then sit and say, how come that we make political parties, opposition political parties in our country, in this democracy, feel so unsafe and feel so insecure that they can't go to the state, that they have to look for alternative ways to try to protect themselves. Look, as I was talking about, yes, you can hear them. You can hear people vying for offices saying that, look, if you vote for me, I will help to protect your vote in the ballot box. I will help to provide security at the coalition centers. Why do they have to do that? Why do you make a political party or another political party feel that they lost the elections because they did not have security at the coalition center? When you push people to do this, then that is why I'm saying that we spend a lot of money, huge sums of money for elections. Our security agents have built capacity, or they should have built enough capacity to deal with elections. They also know the hotspots. So why do we still make opposition parties feel this vulnerable? Because I'm saying this because today you are in position, and today you are in government. If you are in government and you think that I don't care, I'm in power now, tomorrow you'll be in opposition. Yesterday, the NPP was in power. NDC was the one complaining, right? They were the one complaining about these things, about this stress and about this thing. If you laughed at their woes, today you are in their shoe. And the thing about bullets is, and the thing about violence is that it knows nobody. You can be sitting or somewhere minding your own business, the bullet will find you, the violence will find you. So for me, let's not make political activities that violent. Sometimes look at when people are going for a demonstration and see how they dress, see how they try to get their own protection. It's like they are saying that where we are going, we are not safe and secure. So my point is that it should start early. That's the first thing I would say. First commandment to national security. Start today. Engaging the political parties. Start today by creating an environment that makes them trust you, that makes them believe in you, that makes them know that, look, we can afford to, for want of a better word, let our guard down and know that the state will protect us. Be there for everybody. If you start today and they begin to see that you are building confidence, these things will de-escalate.
Even the political parties who go around with all these...
That's what I'm saying. If they do it, look, recently, the NPP has conducted a lot of elections. The police have been there to do everything. Everything has been so secure. You've not seen or heard the NPP blame security for anything else. That's a good start. The NDC is yet to start with their constituency and others. You will see that. Now, my point is that it's a good place. So the National Security Coordinator can set up a desk in his office specifically for political dialogue on critical national security violence. Let them, just like the IPAC meets intermittently, let these people meet. Both political parties can bring some people of high repute that they can meet. And you can then, in that case, you are creating not a back channel, not a window, but a front channel to the excellence of national security. To then say that if you have any concerns about any of the operatives, you can directly come to us. And I promise you, if the national security architecture begins to do that, then you are building confidence with the opposition parties. Then you are letting people know that we've got you. You don't need to try to get yourself. I think that is how we begin to de-escalate. When violence starts, it knows nobody. And we need to do everything possible to make sure that we create a political environment where we can jaw, we can compete with ideas, we can do anything better. And every day, we can go and vote and go back home safely with no injuries.
Today, you've spoken like a full political security expert. Kudos to you. Because there are a number of individuals who seem to agree with you. I see Ikuyamu Abuati, who says that what you're saying is true. Andy Agle also says the greatest national security in the country now is Galamsey, and the politicians are looking on, government is looking on, we're sitting on a time bomb. And that's where I have Mr. Intiamwa join us this morning. He goes by the name Kingsley Intiamwa, and Ofosu is your middle name, right? Okay. How are you? I haven't hosted you before, but welcome. I've watched you on a number of the stations as well.
Thank you.
Because of our history, culminating in us having the vigilantism law, the vigilante law, and the concern being raised by national security, do you think that if the parties are in opposition, then they become more worried about the state of security for themselves, and so that leads to distrust, so to speak?
Okay, thank you, Ronan. And let me say a very good morning to your cherished viewers and say very sorry for coming late. That's not my style.
That's not your style.
Yeah,
traffic has to be traffic.
Yeah.
That's the best excuse.
There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of
ready-made excuse.
There's a lot of traffic. Unusual.
It's like you married and not getting home early. You say work.
It's the same bet.
There was a lot of work.
Today there's very unusual traffic.
Is that the excuse you use? You use work all the time, and it works, right?
Okay.
Does it work all the time for you?
Mischief, please. Kisala is people will not be happy.
Does it work all the time for you?
Yeah, it works.
Thank you.
Roland, on a more serious note, I think that it is the way the architecture of our security is. And so, therefore, anytime political parties are in opposition, they are seen as vulnerable because of the way the security sometimes operate. Because if you look at issues happening since 1992 to date, you realize that in most cases, when you are in power and things happen, you are treated with kid gloves. But when you are in opposition, the security will then come all out to make sure that the law works. So the question is that, does the law only works when you are in power? And the law, it's being massaged when you are, when someone is in power, it's treated like that. And when someone is in opposition, they go all out to make sure that the law works. But I think that that's why in 2019, the then president held to enact the Vigilantism and Related Offences Act in 2019. I think it's Act 999, if my memory serves me right. Now, you realize that since the enactment of that law coming into force, there had not been anybody prosecuting on that law. And so the question is that, what is happening? Is it because when you are in power, the law doesn't work for you? It is only when you are in opposition and all that? Because if you look at what happens recently, just last year at Ablikmanov, that about 30 built men attacked people at the full glare of the media, assaulting media men and all that, nothing happened. So you
then also the full glare of the police
as well. Police as well. And at a point, the police were even complaining that some of the men were assaulted by these political vigilante group. And so I think that it is.
Or there was a political vigilante group.
The people who attack our country.
No, I just want to know. So you know them, they are a vigilante group.
But who are they?
No, I'm asking you a question.
That's his description.
That's right. That's my opinion. I felt that these people were NDC vigilante group.
What's the name of the vigilante?
I don't know. Okay. But we're in this country. We've known Azoka boys. We've known Kandahar boys.
You don't know their name.
We've known Delta Force and all that. We see these things. We should not.
So what you're saying that we shouldn't play ostrich.
Exactly. We should not.
And then turn a blind eye.
Exactly so. And so we've gotten to a point that we need to sit down as a country, sit on a round table, and have this serious discussion.
So
moving into 2028,
would it ever stop?
It can. Why not? That is, if we have very clear, independent security operatives, it should be able to work. Okay, and we should not wait until 2028. For me, I see it as the country sitting on a time bomb. And it is something that we should all come to the drawing table and begin to judge before 2028. Like Dr. Zato was saying, we shouldn't wait until 2028 before we
I was just making a reference to Adentakumi, very popular in Accra, at least. When you say Adentakumi, he contested the last primaries as well. And then he says the young people of the MPP are not going to sit aloof. And even that's why he even carries your 2-force gun and etc. And you tie that in with the observations and the concrete reports by national security that even though we don't seem to have an amalgamation or well-noted, coordinated bodies, you have individuals who display some of these bravado on social media. You will not identify them to be in groups, but they seem to be influencing and then recruiting on the silence.
You see, if we talk about social media and all that, now the security agencies have all the sophisticated machines and equipment to track people. You were in this country when people in Ashanti region, Volta region, Northern region, in their rooms doing TikTok, and within a twinkle of an eye, the security will move from Accra, arrest them, and bring them to Accra as if the courts and the security agencies over those areas are not working. Now, and so when you see all these people, all these things happening on social media, and certain group of people are being arrested, and you see people on social media doing some of these things, and nothing is done, that is where people will come out to say that if so, then we should be able to protect ourselves. And so that's why we are saying that we should have an independent security agency where Hamza will feel secure going to them, where Dr. Zato will feel secure going to them, where Kingsley will feel that when I go, I'll be treated the same way Hamza will be treated, although his party is in government. When I'm in opposition, I'll be treated the same way Hamza will be treated. When that is done, that way, everybody will be okay to work with the security agencies. So that is why we are saying that as a country, we've gotten to a point that the law that was enacted in 2019, we all have to sit at the round table and look at how we can operationalize that law. We can let the law work for everybody. Okay? When we see that equity is done to everybody, that way we will all be okay. So we don't have to sit down until 2028 before we begin to sign peace pact and all those charades won't help anybody.
We should start early.
We should start early.
And there should be trust.
Exactly so.
But so far everything seems to be fine.
No, you see, that's why I told you that if I sit in my bedroom, do a TikTok, and I'm arrested, and the same thing is done by another person, nothing is done, that is where this discrimination begins. And people begin that, oh, if this is how people are being treated, then we should be able to arm ourselves. Let's get people who can protect us, okay? And so the police and the security agencies must show faith that we can trust them from the beginning. Once that is done, that is why I'm saying that we need to start early. And when starting early, we should all sit on a round table. The opposition, the parties, the opposition parties, the parties in power, and the good people of this country. We should all sit. We shouldn't wait till a month to election, 2 months to election, that will be called to the table, let's sign a peace pact. That is just a charade that won't help anybody. I think that we've gotten to a point that as a country, we need to make sure, we need to sit back and say that, hey, what happened at Orodiodio in 2024 should not happen again. What happened at Tachiman should not happen again. What happened at Telense, Ayawaso, West Wagon, Sheponi, Akwatia, and all those places. I think that
Etiwa. I remember Etiwa West. Yes. We've had a long history.
It was as a result of that. That is why His Excellency, the former president, was bold that let's get something on paper that will guide everybody. Okay, and so that law that was passed in 2019, I think that it's about time that we need to sit down as a country and operationalize that law.
We need to make it work. Act 999, he makes a very cogent argument. Well, if you look at the punitive sections of the law, nobody has been punished. At the end of the day, we don't seem to overly trust the national security apparatus. Immediately we leave power. Or we leave power, or we are in opposition. But we trust them when we are in government. It alternates between the parties. What should be the best solution? In 2 minutes, if you can.
And that is why I started on the basis of political rhetoric. And most importantly, I think leadership from all the political actors in this country, especially when it comes to the flag bearers, in terms of responsible speech and stuff of that nature. And Roland, let us not, as political communicators on this platform, pretend to be experts on national security. Like I indicated in my earlier submission, it is true that what is happening in the mining area is a major concern to many of us, but that does not mean that the National Security Coordinator is wrong, based on intel he has. If he is of the opinion that the greatest threat to our stability now has to do with vigilante groups, especially those that operate within the rank and file of political parties. We are not privy to intelligence information that he has gathered. That is not to suggest that the activities of private security arrangements in the mining sector is not a source of concern, but to say that it is the greatest threat without any semblance of intel is to be unfair to the facts. And so we should be careful.
How would that be unfair to the facts when he has stated a litany of at least 1 or 2 incidents where NIMOS personnel
precisely that
have
is
been
about
accosted,
1, 2, or 3,
not one,
2 or 3. But you and I on this table can count dozens of incidents related to political party vigilantism.
True.
And especially when it comes to their operations. Even our security agencies are compromised. because they know that these are political party tax. And like he indicated, it is possible that these political parties are in power. So even the security agencies are careful in the manner in which they relate to these tax. But when it comes to the mining industry, they can confront because it has no partisan colors. Just that maybe their firepower might be too much for them to handle. And so let's get it straight. It is not accurate to say that the greatest threat, as far as Intel is concerned, has to do with what is happening in the mining sector. It is a major concern. It is something that national security already is working on. But they have their intel, and they know where we need to be concerned, especially when it comes to activism. But
he says that you, the party, you need to sit down, Mr.
Oh, sit down on what? Sit down on what? If you look at the politics, please,
the eve of 2020.
If you look at the politics of the National Democratic Congress, we have since evolved, especially under the leadership of His Excellency of Blessed Memory, Ivan Satamios, and subsequently to our current president, John Dramani Mahama. You know that even in the last election, the NDC demonstrated fidelity to the principles of our 1992 Constitution in terms of the way we conducted our campaigns, even on to the point of elections. We deployed no vigilante groups. But even after the promulgation of the so-called Vigilante Act, Act 999, what became of it? In the numerous by-elections that we encountered, we had violent incidents. Even after that, who was prosecuted? Even within the own internal politics of the NPP, there were issues. And that is why I'm saying that it boils down to leadership. If you have the likes of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia leading political parties, and yet, under their direction, their own supporters had the courage to confront and attack violently their national chairman and deputy and general secretary, ransacked their vehicles. An Upper East Regional Chairman murdered because of internal politics of the NPP. So if Nana Addo was minded to promulgate a law, it was simply, he was minded because of his own experiences within the politics of his own political party.
But truthfully, there have been incidents across the parties.
I didn't deny that on this platform. That's why I resisted the temptation to recount incidents associated either with the NDC or NPP. And I said that we have gotten to a stage where there is a need for us to come together in the collective, regardless of our partisan persuasion, to confront. In the recent leadership of the political parties, can you give me examples? Under President Mahama as leader of the NDC in opposition for 8 years, and now president of the Republic of Ghana, where the NDC is unable to manage its internal elections to a point that even our national officers at the party head office are being assaulted and attacked? Can you give me an example where President Mahama has said that in Etiwa we showed you small? Can you give me examples? So this is something we shouldn't do. And that was what my brother was seeking to do. All what I know is that for the NDC, we have been given a very reflective leadership in the person of His Excellency President Mahama. And if you look at the politics of the NDC since he took over as flag bearer and leader of the party, it has been one rooted in intellectual engagement rather than the show of force and physical assault. And so we must be exemplary to all our political opponents. And we invite you. Our doors are open. Yes, when it comes to political party activities, there are likely to be excesses. We all sat around here and condemned what happened in the by-election, and what's the name? The Ayawasu West Wagon. And the police indicated that they were investigating. We must join forces to call on the police to let us know the state of the investigations and what has come out of it.
Oh, there was a commission of inquiry that was put together.
So we must be interested in the report. I'm a communicator of the ruling government. I'm not running away from that fact. But the point I'm making is that in the collective, none of them were able to say, that these are members of the ruling National Democratic Congress. Did the report say that?
You mean the perpetrators of violence? No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, okay.
And we do know, and you see how we are talking about how Akumsin. How Akumsin also had her own fair share of history. We may not have known where these issues were coming from. It could have even been internal. It could have been internal, especially at a time that they had lost power and their own foot soldiers were blaming others for that defeat. So let us be fair. And that's why I asked him. He boldly mentioned Azoka boys, Kandahar associated to the MPP in the northern region, but he was unable to mention the so-called vigilantes he saw who confronted who attacked our Kumsen. And so we must even be truthful in our political commentary as a way of confronting this menace.
Yeah.
Thank you. I still insist.
How do we come to some conclusion?
I still insist that Galamsey, the violence there, and the guns there, and the military and pseudo security they have there is the biggest threat to our democracy and to our electoral systems. I believe that the Galamsey money, the Galamsey profits buy big, sophisticated weaponry, trains people on how to shoot and kill, and that very soon, those weapons will leave the Galamsey pits, they will leave the forest, and they will be found on our streets, at our campaign rallies and things. And when that happens, let's put a record that I have called it. I want to put that, and that is true. Secondly, look, how do we go about doing it? I've mentioned it, and it is a truism that we need to begin to build trust among political parties. Look, political parties are opportunistic actors. And they will always do that. They will be the opportunities because the question is, if they cry foul, will that help them, give them public sympathy to win power? If that's the case, they will do that. If they win, if they don't win power, or if they cry foul, will that help them not win power? They won't do that. Mr. Suhuyini made a point, and I respect that point he made, that over the past 8 years since His Excellency John Dramani Mahama became opposition leader, nothing has happened like that. One of the reasons could be precisely because of the security situation that was offered to them. One of the reasons could be that the managers of national security were able to provide an environment for him, or an environment for the NDC, so much so that they did not have to do that. Recently, there was a protest that happened here. And people said, look, yes, people said, we thank you, security services, for what happened. And people said, thank you, NPP. There was no violence. It takes two to tango. That means that in the recent democracy address lesson, we saw demonstrators behave. They played their part. And precisely because they played their part, we saw the security personnel were literally on a holiday, watching. That means that we both have a responsibility to play. The security agencies played their role, played their responsibility perfectly because they did that. The opposition did not feel the need to block roads, to attack the security, to do these things. And that is why I'm saying that protest and how it was happened, so that, one, it demonstrates that the opposition party that demonstrated have shown that they are prepared to work with the security agencies in an environment that they feel is safe and fair to them. The security agencies up to now, or at least with evidence from that demonstration, have also shown that they are prepared to protect and defend the rights of opposition parties to participate in this democracy. I'm telling you that if we use that as a test case, if we build on that, so that we can have both assurances coming from them, that will help our democracy. Instead of somebody sitting on your high horses and trying to pontificate or preach to somebody. No. Let's all see that, no, we have a role to play. That if you give enough assurances to opposition, they will behave. And that if the opposition do that, they will complement. And that is the way we should run this thing.
Yeah. And we keep hearing, especially from the MPP, power, you take it 2028, etc. So, and it's your right as well. You know that within the systems you're deploying, the strategies, you say you're going to take power. How do we make sure that in the run-up to the election, formatively, there's going to be that semblance of peace?
You see, Roland, I didn't want to go to this tangent, but you see, in the first place, we need to understand that the fight against Galamsey, this particular government has woefully failed.
You see, introducing
if we have the president,
so we can engage.
We have the president himself admitting that his own party members are doing the Galamsey, and now we have the national security saying that Galamsey is becoming a security threat. It means that. So when we were talking, I was very quiet.
Roland, so far we have to say something. So Hine has been disruptive. We must just put that on the record.
Am I?
Okay.
You know we can all degenerate.
Yes.
Am I?
When you were talking, you said very
I'm just saying it.
Irresponsible statements. I never interrupted you.
Exactly.
Very responsible statement.
Please
okay. You made very responsible statement. I just let it go. So please respect.
It doesn't mean that you should lie.
Okay.
You stick to the facts. You said the president said the members of his party. You say lie. Give us
Roland.
the evidence.
It's not, I can give you the evidence.
It's a lie.
This is
He will not kid himself into believing. That was what he said. Unless your English is problematic.
As in, he won't be surprised if.
Yes.
Okay, so you see,
I've corrected submissions many times on the subject. Yes.
I'm not here to say what will be favor him or what he wants me to say.
No, but it doesn't mean that you should speak them.
What I'm saying is a fact, and I'll say it again.
Which one is a fact?
So if we have
he said
a president
in his opinion,
and
the president's comment
yes,
is what he said.
Yes, that's how I understood it.
He's entitled to that opinion.
Okay,
that's how he processed what the president said. So he shouldn't say that the president
you are controlling the program. The program. The guy is spoiling your program.
Mr. Muzuntiama, please can you go ahead?
Okay. So what I'm saying is that if the president is not committed to fighting Galamsey, and it is known that between 2025 to date, the level of degradation in our environment so high, what it means is that the Galamseyers is becoming more and more. And as you speak now, the only people who can do Galamsey and they are not arrested, and the people with the opposition, with the people with the power, the political party in government, the NDC. And so you also tend to understand that all these people within the Galamsey side with these guns, I would say that most of them are from the opposition side. That is why they've not been able to arrest them. I think last week or within the beginning of the week, we heard that some Naimos or whatever have been arrested. 9 people have been arrested doing Galamsey. People who were employed to go and make sure the Galamsey menace are not done, are rather doing Galamsey. And these people were employed by the NDC. And these people are known to be or purportedly to be NDC foot soldiers who were given jobs to go and make sure that Galamsey menace are stopped within the Galamsey. I'm from a Galamsey community.
Which community?
I'm from Atiwa. I'm from Kwabin, to be precise. I'm from Kwabin. Anybody watching me know I'm from Kwabin.
It's a Galamsey community.
Yes, it's their constituency.
And you are saying that the only people undertaking Galamsey, they are NDC people?
About 90% or 100% of the people. Because if you are in opposition now and you want to do Galamsey, the police will come after you, the security will come after you. The DCs,
do you have evidence to that effect?
The DCs there, the DCs are the chairman of MINSEC, MUSEC, DISEC and all that. And so if somebody is doing Galamsey and they go to arrest, who would they go? Who go to arrest? It's not the municipal security agencies. I don't know the people who go.
You've diverted the topic to Galamsey, though. But the question
all that I'm saying is that, you see...
How do we come to a truce or find a solution? Because we've identified...
It's leadership.
Okay, great.
Leadership. And who has the mantle now? It's the NDC. It's the leadership. All we are talking about on this table this morning boils up to leadership. The commitment of leadership to calm down these things. Once leadership is committed, by making sure that we are bringing this thing to an end. Why not? Why are we not in this country when people were saying that we should call, what do you call it, state of emergency and all that? Were we not in this country that when they were in opposition, they were calling for state of emergency and all that? So what has changed? That we cannot bring this thing to a halt. If leadership is committed to bring this thing to a halt, one day they can do it. And so, but at this point, I'll go again by saying that we should call people to the round table, because nobody can say that we are not sitting on time bomb, okay? And so the leadership of this country, i.e. President Mahama, should be committed, because sometimes I feel like he feels that he has only 4 years, let me do what I can do and go. But
That's your feeling?
That is how I feel. Okay? And so I think that President Mahama should be committed to fighting all this, to committed to make sure that all this issue of vigilantism is brought to an end by calling people and by showing faith, by letting people have faith in their security. Once that is done, everybody will have free mind to say that, hey, we see, Roland, let me end by saying that we have one Ghana. We have one country. And so we should all make sure the leadership, the president, should make sure that he brings people close, he lets people have trust in the security agencies. And once that is done, because once that is done, everybody will be ready to make sure that things are working in the country. That's all that I want to say.
All right. All right, and I have to say that Hamza hasn't been disruptive. Only that he's made intermittent intervention.
Yeah, that's what we are all going
but
to do.
But your
to him.
conclusion is that he's been disruptive. I think it's unfair.
I accept it. I don't
Are we allowed to do that? Are we allowed to do that? Because I've decided to do that to him. Are we allowed to do that? Yeah, today. I agree. We are talking about today. Yes. I've decided not to do that.
But you,
I know.
Let's talk about Parliament. Exactly. And we know that apart from the special prosecutor, we expect the special prosecutor to put together a press conference. It's been formally announced on the social media handles of the special prosecutor. And the office will have that press conference. Invariably, we're thinking is going to be on the subject of other cases, but particularly also the more public opinion-dominated one, investigation of the Gold Board CEO as well as the minority leader. Now the Speaker also has come into the fray. How do we make sure this is expeditedly dealt with?
I think even Roland, before that, my brother had the opportunity to delve into issues of Galamsey, even though we're not talking about Galamsey. But one thing is clear, Galamsey continues to be a problem for this country. And the NDC government will not deceive or delude itself into thinking that it has been able to confront the matter. But clearly, the fact that it is not mostly at the forefront of our discussions today tells of a picture in terms of the commitment of this government. So maybe in the dictionary of the NPP, the NPP wants to create an atmosphere similar to what we witnessed when they were in power. So they are on a different trajectory. The good people of this country appreciate the steps of this government in that regard. That is why the atmosphere cannot be the same. And regardless of your conclusions, these are the facts. Now, on the issue of Gold Board.
The Speaker says that they need to get to the bottom as well. OSP is on.
Yes, I think that is highly commendable. When I listen to the Chief Executive Officer of the Gold Board, he's granted a number of interviews, and he's indicated his willingness to appear before any investigative body in this country in relation to the so-called loss of $1.7 billion that the minority is talking about. And Roland, make no mistake, this should be of interest to all Ghanaians, regardless of our partisan persuasion. But we must not also lose sight of the implications of this particular drive. When I listened to the Speaker, I got the sense that the Speaker was looking for closure as far as this matter is concerned. But one thing is important for us to appreciate.
What's that?
Whichever way we look at it, this is not a loss attributable to Gold Board. And even the IMF in its report makes that point emphatically. And I have challenged people to go and read even the abstract of that particular report. It is there black and white about where the law sits. And you see, if there is a motion before Parliament to investigate the domestic gold purchase program, the domestic gold purchase program is not one under the offices of Gold Board. It is under the offices of Bank of Ghana. And so if there is going to be an investigation, and the Parliament deems it appropriate to invite also the Chief Executive Officer of Gold Board to bring clarity to the matters, who would stand on the way of Parliament in doing so? So it is commendable. This government has absolutely nothing to hide. But the Speaker must not end the directive there. Parliament, for its own integrity, must also be interested in the allegations leveled against the minority leader of Parliament, because he's part of the leadership of Parliament. So I would want to see Speaker proceed to also give directives in that regard. There's the need for that allegation to also be investigated so that we will know whether indeed our minority leader is one who believes in the politics of extortion or not. And we can collectively take a decision. So it is not a one-sided affair. I know that the likes of Solomon Owusu have filed petitions to the Speaker demanded an investigation into the allegation. The Speaker must give a direction as far as that is also concerned. But trust me, when it comes to the $1.7 billion loss or cost, this government and the Gold Board is more than ready to avail itself. We have already learned useful lessons. This is not the first time that the Bank of Ghana has made losses, as they would like to call it, at the back of the domestic gold purchase program. This is not the first time. We recorded losses in 2023. we recorded losses in 2024. Unfortunately, we are here because of the quantums involved now. And the IMF in its report has indicated that the quantum of 1.7 billion is as a result of the scaling up of the program. So what that means is that if the NDC government was doing similar figures like the MPP did between 2023 and 2024, the loss would have been in the region of about 3 to 4 billion, like 5 billion, like they recorded when they were in power. But now we have gone way beyond. $1.7 billion loss at the cost of 10.8 billion added to our reserves. That is historic since Ghana attained independence. And so there will be cost implications. And our argument has always been so that if you look at the 1.7 billion that they are referring to as a loss, it is actually the cost of our recovery. And that point has been consistently made even in the annual reports of the Bank of Ghana. And these were audited accounts, not by only our internal auditors, but external auditors as well. And so even if Parliament needs guidance, they can rely on that report, unless, of course, Parliament itself has doubts about the independence of our auditing agencies in this country, and also the external bodies. Like I said, they are not precluded from investigating. We welcome it, but we must not create the picture as though this has not been audited before. It has been.
But the IMF is very emphatic that the costs and its own interchangeably using costs and loss.
And loss.
That government needs to do something about it.
No. And government
and then even onwardly goes on to advise, for which the Ministry of Finance has, as a way of policy, gone on to also shift that onto the books of government, so to speak. That cost should not be borne by the Bank of Ghana.
Absolutely.
And subsequently as well, the cost needs to be reworked and reduced drastically.
Absolutely.
Do you agree with that?
I fully agree.
As a policy.
I fully agree. You see, even before the IMF came in, government had given the indication through the Minister of Finance. That's what birthed the GANRAP program, intended to take away the cost of the gold transactions away from Bank of Ghana to that of Gold Board. And the processes have started. And if you read the IMF report itself, it has indicated that even in the first quarter of 2026, they have seen signals that the cost implications are beginning to come down. I hope you've read the report. The first quarter, the IMF itself in the report has said that, look, Gold Board has indicated, per the transaction so far, there seemed to be a reduction in the cost implications of the gold transactions. And it is commendable. So even prior to the announcement of IMF, this government already looked at the figure of 1.7 billion, and we're looking at ways to bring down that cost in the next financial year. That is what governance is about. It's about being proactive. It's about making sure that you bring the cost of doing government businesses down. And that is the objective of this government. We may not be able to resolve all the problems associated with many of the policies we inherited in a matter of 1 year, 6 months, or 7 months. But you cannot take away the sincerity of this government and its forthrightness when it comes to resolving challenges that were inherited. And so I would expect our colleagues on the other side of the political divide to understand that no matter how they try, this is not one that they can use to create a scandal. And I've always told them, especially those of them who are my friends, yes, I've always told them that if there's anything to learn from this NDC government that is led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, you must learn that your political future will be defined based on how you interact with us. If you come to us with lies and propaganda, you would lose, especially Sami Jemfi. I can understand their concern for them. We must appreciate the politics of the NDC.
You think it's being targeted instead of...
I will tell you, not just targeted at Sami Jemfi, it is also targeted at what they believe to be one of the major success story of this government. And they did it in 2016, when they launched their so-called assault on the pillars of democracy. They know that one of the major successes of the NDC in opposition had to do with the work the likes of Sami Jemfi did. And they are beginning to appreciate that one of the major successes of this government in terms of the economic turnaround has to do with the activities of Gold Board. And it will be difficult for them to win the economic debate if they do not assault and discredit the work that is being done by Gold Board to ensure that our economy remains on track. And so for them, it is a political strategy. It is left unto us as Ghanaians to see beyond the political strategy of the MPP and know that they are seeking to erode the gains Gold Board is making, and they are also seeking to avenge, in their language, the sins committed by Sami Gyamfi against them in opposition. But I can assure you that he is a gentleman who is solid, he is a gentleman who is focused on the job, and their own leaders, their political future may come to an end if they do not engage him on the basis of truth and seek to do so on the basis of extortion.
Parliament now supposed to investigate. Shraj has already written to, at least we know, Solo as one of the petitioners alongside Apia Dankwa, and then OSP also wants to take the zone as well. Where we've reached so far. It's something we began last week. It looks like we're going to end the week same.
My dear
but
friend,
this time move to the next.
My dear friend, Solo is not here, so I don't want to get him. But what he and Apia Dankwa are doing, they are just seeking, what's the name? They're just attention seekers. They are just.
Have you read their petition?
Yeah, I've read it. There's nothing. It's hollow. It's empty. They are seeking attention.
Their petition is hollow.
They've got their day in the sunlight.
Solo is not here. You're having a free time.
I said he's my friend. No, I mean, I'm just
talking.
I'm
somebody,
I know.
Somebody was saying Ghana balance rough.
Yes, if he was saying he would jump on my throat, I know. But they're just attention seekers. Nothing. This one is very hollow. Today, this morning, I want to do something. I want us to look at a more academic, intellectual approach to this Gold Board, Bank of Ghana, brouhaha. And one of the best ways to look at this is to look at it through the lenses of what is known as principal agency theory. Principal agency theory is one of the most popular theories in public administration, economics, that every student studies. The fundamental premise of that theory is this. When one person, in this case the agent, hires another person, when one person, the principal, hires another person, the agent, to do work for them, their interests might not align. And precisely because their interests might not align, the activities and the interests of the agent may harm or hurt the principal. In this case, the principal here becomes the Bank of Ghana. There are chains of principals. Citizens are principals, 1, 2. Government can be principal, ministers can be principal agency, but you can have a hierarchy of them. I want to look at the Bank of Ghana as a principal. Hires, agent, Gold Board to do the activities. The very premise of the story is that the interest, in this case, the interest of the Bank of Ghana and the interest of the Gold Board might not align. And one of the main reasons is that the agent knows more and may act for himself. The truth is the agent may know more. And there are 4 main ways.
You move the argument to principal agent theory.
Yes, I want us to understand. We've done the political rhetoric. I want us to look at it because maybe there are students watching to understand why we say these losses, you put it within the context. One, they said there are 3 main ways. And one is this, information asymmetry. The theory says that the agent, knows the real issues. The agent has more information than the principal. Bank of Ghana provides the funding to what? Gold Board. But Bank of Ghana doesn't know the real art and act of buying the gold from the small artisanal workers. So the real nitty-gritty of the work is done by what?
Dr. Zato, the Bank of Ghana told you this?
I'm saying that I'm trying to understand this through an intellectual, through a theoretical lens. I'm applying the theory to a real case. Can I do that?
You're doing it. I'm not entitled to ask you a question.
You're trying to, but I'm telling you that, and so I'm telling you.
Because this one, you're saying that the principal agent theory, we all understand.
So let me apply it. Then when I apply, if I'm wrong, you tell me. In this case, it wasn't the Bank of Ghana that was buying the gold. No. It was Gold Board that was buying it.
But the Bank of Ghana, as a principal, knows that its agents...
Yes, is buying gold for them. Yes, agreed.
And we all know the structure and the tiers of buying the gold.
Thank you.
That has been and communicated and known by the principal of the Bank of Ghana. So what are you saying?
The Bank of Ghana was not the one buying the gold. The agent, Gold Board, was the one actually in the market buying the gold. So they know more about the gold.
But that is why Gold Board is the agent. Because the Bank of Ghana cannot go into the business of buying the gold.
The second issue about is what called adverse selection. The principal might pick the wrong agent to do the work. Did the Bank of Ghana pick a wrong agent to do this work? By picking Gold Board, did they pick the wrong agent? I will argue that the fact that as a result of picking this agent, that it now sits $1.7 billion that sits on their books, they picked the wrong agent. Because if they had picked because the Bank of Ghana did not start this policy by saying that let's make a 1.7 billion loss. No. They picked an agent that will help them at least not make a loss, but at least make some positive returns. The fact that at the end of the day, that you pick the agent and through the activities of the agent that you made a loss meant that they picked the wrong agent. Number 3, moral hazard. After hiring, agent takes hidden actions that benefit himself, not the principal. That's what the theory is. In this case, you've seen that the activities of the agent have benefited Gold Board and not Bank of Ghana because Gold Board says that we undertook these activities. As a result, we have made a profit. That's what Gold Board. But Bank of Ghana, you have made a 1.7 billion loss. You see what I'm going? So in other words, they are saying that even if we bleed on Ghana, the activity says that because you picked the wrong agent and because the agent has now had a narrow mind to make sure that their books look good, better than your books, then in that case they've done that. My point, at the end of the day, either through actions or inactions, no matter how you bisect it, select it, dissect it, it comes through. The activities of Gold Board has contributed to this loss. They made the loss because they were the agent of Bank of Ghana. And as an agent, the activities directly led to what? The loss of this amount of money. So we can say that as a principal, they demonstrated that they were the wrong principals. As principals, they demonstrated they were competent enough to do this. And as a principal, their activities directly led to this loss. So you can say, you can use any accounting gymnastic, you can use any accounting to say that where it stays or where it lies, where it can do that.
Am I allowed to come in now?
Why not?
Okay. So we had the gold purchase program.
Brilliant.
And then it's supposed at the time that the announcement was made by the Akufo-Addo Bawumia-led government.
Thank you.
Because of the outflows of foreign currency in the purchase of oil, we said that we wanted to reduce risk and exposure.
Yes.
And so that was undertaken. And the intent was that you wanted to make sure the CD was performing or would perform better or appreciate against the US dollar, particularly because it's the major trading currency.
Yes, yes.
And by 2024, there was a loss of 400.
Yes.
Okay. But also the intent of the policy is also for monetary or even as well as fiscal stability as well. And then you create the reserves, being 2 as well. So for the principal, which is the Bank of Ghana, based on your theory, the intent...
It's not my theory.
This is a theory, and you are
based
applying it to your opinion and observation about how the principal BOG, as well as the agent Gold Board, used to be PMMC, have operated. Is that not the case?
Yes.
Okay. So the intent of the principal at the time was not only to make profits, but also to make sure they shore up some key indicators, i.e. fiscal, monetary, forex losses, reserves for the Republic of Ghana.
Yes.
Due to our history, dating back circa 21, 22, when we went in the wheelchairs as well as the emergency table to the IMF. Okay. So if that is the case, would you agree that the principal's own objects or intents for this structure of buying gold or doing the substitution or the barter in itself was not only to make profits, if it was supposed to make at all, but also for the others as well, create the reserves, shore up the CD, etc.
Thank you very much. And this one will say the God of His Excellency Dr. Bawumia is a living God. May the good Lord continue to give him good health and good wealth. Earlier this year, or when they just came to power, they tried to take away any vestige of what? Appreciation for this policy, for the domestic gold purchase program. Even though when they came into power, there was a record number of what? Gold reserves and the national that can be directly attributed to this. Communicators of the NDC went into overdrive to deny that brilliant economist and that brilliant young man, His Excellency Dr. Bawumia, and the creativity of this policy. They went to do that. So
is that your response to my question?
Yes, I'm coming there. So I'm happy that today, these same people have come to realize that, okay, thank you, Your Excellency Dr. Bawumia, for this policy, and that we build on it. There's something called policy reform. You reform policy, so they did that. So now they came.
So you agree that there was a policy reform?
Exactly. So this, no.
Do you also agree, before or prior to the policy reform, the intent of the appreciation for the city, creating the reserves, etc., for the all by the principle, the BOG, was not achieved prior to the way the Gold Board has managed the program up to now?
So this is, again, let me answer the question. So that policy...
So if that is achieved, then shouldn't Gold Board be getting credit for being an agent of the principal of the Bank of Ghana, shoring up the city through the Bank of Ghana's own instrumentality, creating the reserves, etc., irrespective of the losses? Because losses were still introduced or also achieved or recorded, even with the DMB praise that you're giving.
Thank you very much. So if you learn anything about public policy making and policy implementation, there's something called incrementalism, or there's something called muddling through. Sometimes you come up with a policy, it's not perfect. The idea is that as you implement and as you review it, you work towards making it far better. Certainly. That is why there's nothing like a perfect policy out there. You make a policy and there are theories.
But that is why for this year, they've improved or even reduced their safe fees and some of those.
Can I? No, please. Don't give me. Oh, can I at least, if you give me one chance, if you give me a opportunity, let me make my point, please. I beg you. So yes, it was, but it was never a perfect policy. And that's what you've just said. At the end of the day, when the people was leaving power, you could count...
So you agree that it was not a perfect policy? But why is that in the criticism? You don't criticize the PMMC in the Mahmoud Bawumia era, but you're criticizing the PMMC stroking
the content of the
transitioning to the Gold Board under the John Mahama era.
You will do this and very soon you say my time is over, please.
No, actually your time is over. But you
Gold Board traded on the agreement we signed with Bank of Ghana. That's the truth.
So,
and Bank of Ghana governor is on the board of Gold Board, so it is inaccurate for you to claim that Bank of Ghana is not aware of the trading going on.
You see, okay, so your policy is about today you've seen that I have tried not to disrupt. You've seen it.
Because Solo is not here.
But okay, so let's go back. So that policy was not perfect, but it was creativity. It was smart. It was intelligent to say that let's try something different from the traditional way of shoring our reserves. And then you can also look at that policy.
So it was good.
The policy is a good policy. But no, it was not a perfect policy.
But we experienced losses. But it was good. So why is it that if it was good, we're experiencing more losses and then it is bad?
Just give me 1 minute to make the point. So then we moved to 2025 and we reformed the policy. When Gold Board came, we reformed the policy. When we reformed the policy, we did something very significant that is different. PMMC was a competitor in the sector, had to compete with others to buy gold. So, in fact, it's even difficult because if you are a competitor and I'm a competitor, it means that this person can offer better conditions and get more gold than me. PMMC was not a monopoly. Gold Board is a monopoly.
And they buy more gold.
Everything down there
generates more revenue than PMMC was doing, which was not a monopoly.
PMMC was not a monopoly. Despite being in a competitive environment, despite everything, PMMC made a loss of 400 million. Do you know what happened as a result of that 4 million making and the Bank of Ghana making all those things? In 2023, the NDC marched to the Bank of Ghana, called for the head of the Bank of Ghana, the governor, and his deputies. As part of all these things. Now I'm coming to the point here.
Let me correct you.
Yes.
The 60 billion loss, that was the exposure that was recorded. That was the reason why the march was undertaken, not because of the 400 million. Point of correction.
At the end of the day, it was a loss made by the bank. Is that not it? Loss is a loss.
2022.
Because of losses, okay, let me put it this way. Because of losses made by the Bank of Ghana, the NDC marched there and said, Governor, you and your deputies resign. You are not fit for purposes. Is that a fact? Because of losses. You went there and said they should resign. Now, I'm coming to the point. We were now told that we are in a new administration. We should do things better. We should have learned lessons from the past. We should have learned lessons from 2024. And then those lessons, the fact is that the agent has not learned any lessons, and that is what these losses have come. So we must say the losses as a result of the activities of the agent, and that is Gold.
Let me give you a minute, to be fair.
So Roland, nobody else speaks. The issue here is about the 1.7 billion loss. Okay. And the dishonesty of the NDC. You see, just about 2 months ago, the finance minister...
Actually, the issue that we're discussing what is, do you think whether Parliament and the decision
what is the basis of that?
And
What is the basis? Roland, the basis for that is the 1.7 billion loss. That is the basis for all that brouhaha. Okay? That is why I'm saying that it's as a result of the dishonesty of the NDC. Just about 2 months ago, the finance minister was in Parliament. But for the IMF report, would he have been able to mention this $1.7 billion? But for the IMF report, you see, just 2 days ago or so, the IMF country director was on one of your sister stations.
The Bank of Ghana, I think by May, had already said that there were some losses.
Somewhere did they mention 1.7 billion? That's what I'm talking about. Were they emphatic on the 1.7 billion? That is what we are saying.
You have been very rude and disrespectful.
They were all silent on the 1.7 billion. Okay. You see,
don't be rude. Don't be disrespectful. It's not nice. Don't do that.
You see, Roland, what we need to understand.
I wanted to give your colleague
what we need to understand is that we are talking of over 220 trillion old Ghana cedis.
What is 220
trillion cedis? Okay.
What is old Ghana cedi?
About 22 billion.
So
220 billion.
22 billion cedis.
Yes. Okay. That is what we are talking about. Okay. And the finance minister was silent on it when he went to Parliament. Last 2 days, the IMF country director, he made very categorical statement. And I got very panicked when he said that. He said, even the $1.7 billion he's talking about, it is only the document that we handed
you
over
have
to them.
abandoned the principal agent theory he introduced to analyze the thing.
It was only the document that was handed over to them. It means that there could be other documents that they did not see.
All right.
And the document that was available to them is talking about $1.7 billion. And we think that Ghanaians should not be alarmed.
My time is.
Okay? And so all that we are saying is that...
Zato didn't know about this theory
all
in 2020.
All that we are saying is that the resetting agenda... You see, the back and forth Roland was doing, I was so surprised that a government has come, they are resetting, and you are saying that somebody had a loss.
He made an analogy about
No. I'm saying that somebody had a loss. You've come to reset, and your losses are even worse than. What is the reset?
What loss?
It means that they are incompetent. Okay, and
What
so
is the implication
now nurses and teachers are home. They can't even have $6 billion cedis to employ them, but we can have a loss of 1.7 billion, and you have someone as arrogant as some.
The $400 million.
You see. The reset agenda. Let me land.
Dr. Felix,
millions of dollars, even in the deal of the most expensive war.
Because if you look at the way the attitude of Sami Jamfi
the same applies to what happened between DOJ and PMMC in 2023.
He's a CEO who should be accountable to the good of this country.
Now,
when you are accounting
Prince Nani, gentlemen, let me read some.
You come and insult. What are you talking about?
No, gentlemen.
You come and insult.
Throughout this morning, Prince Nani Ayo, 400 million net loss.
If you are in leadership,
he's defining the
okay, your microphones are off. Your microphones are off. Again, let me tell you that this morning, Boachi Ejakon, the former energy minister, who is vying for the chairmanship of the MPP, will be submitting his forms to bid for the chairmanship position of the MPP. Please, we'll bring you the latest update as well. And then a great friend of mine also wants to be the women's organizer for the Central Tone constituency. That is Yvette Emefak-Beve. So for all those delegates of the NDC for Central Tone, please vote for her as well. Simon Perez, you're celebrating your birthday, great guy. Zelis Dwayne says that interesting analogy so far, and you say you're happy as well. And let me apologize to you that because of the principal agent theory he introduced to analyze it, and then he gave me the opportunity to... Attention all parents of first year senior high school boarding students. EduPark is available for you. So make sure that you get the best. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you the latest sports headlines. Stay with us. All right.
welcome back. You're watching TV3 Newday. It's now time for sports. And Mutala Yakubu Ni Odwe Lati.
You've already given me a
Is here with us.
You've already given me, in your juba. That one, yeah. Few.
She can't jump over.
Call Jimmy, man.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to especially invite you for the football match happening in Teshi.
Okay.
This season. It's a football match between Teshi and Nungwa.
You said it's not Teshi, it's Teshi.
Yes, it's not Teshi.
So I've been pronouncing it wrongly all this while. It's Teshi. Now
it's
I can. Teshi. Okay.
Yes, under the stone.
I've seen all the good works you're doing there. I mean, trying to bring people together. Unity is everything.
Yes,
and
it is.
the people of Teshi love you. I saw an elderly woman commending you. The visibility
that was nice.
and the mileage you've given them is something that they can never repay you for. I mean, it's a nice feeling. But how come at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. people are so on the streets?
We don't sleep.
Partying?
No, we don't sleep. You know, the Kwashimo starts at dawn. It starts at 1 a.m. and it ends around 2 p.m. the next day. So it's just constantly running together in the same direction with no destination.
Oh, okay. So you can just be on the streets. So
these are the words of Giovanni Caleb.
Daylight. Oh, okay. Yes. That's
so
nice.
the 5th of September, it's like that. So you can come by
nice.
anytime.
I'll
the
stop by
elders are
to
looking
see.
for you. You know that. I've told you.
I hope it's for a good cause.
Oh, yes.
I have not done anything
We
wrong.
want to celebrate you.
Because if I'm being someone on a garland, it means that maybe my ebony.
Maybe she'll see it.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's happening in the world of sports?
A lot's happening. Big news for Ghana and big news for Kwasisibo.
Yes.
He's 28 years of age. Now, this is a player that right after the World Cup said he had offers from England, he had some from Turkey. But guess what? He's heading to Libya on a 2-year deal that is worth $10 million.
Woo!
He's heading to Libya on a deal that is worth $10 million.
$10 million.
He signed for Libyan side Al Swelly, and they are paying $10 million. It's a 2-year deal plus with a +1 option, and it comes with an apartment in Tripoli as well. They are giving him an apartment and a car in Tripoli, and they've paid 50% upfront of that $10 million.
$5 million?
Yes, already to Kwasisibo.
Wow. To him personally?
To him personally.
So this is money for him?
Yeah, he came as a free agent. So every single money goes to Kwasisibo and his agents. So he's taking, there will be some deductions. And yesterday I checked with the team, and it's around, he will get around $7.5 million if he's able to complete the 2 years. And he signed the contract already, even though he's in Ghana.
1 million safe. Many people will live this whole life without ever experiencing $1 million.
Now, the interesting thing about this, though, is about 100% increase in his salary at Real Oviedo. At Oviedo, he was earning around $15,000 dollars, which wasn't enough. Now, he's getting as much as $7.5 million to himself. So he's already signed the contract. He'll be in Libya soon. He's in Ghana at the moment, coming to bid farewell to his people. Then he moves straight to Libya. So Kwasisibo with that big money move. He's 28 years of age, so this could be a defining moment for him. The others who are criticizing him for choosing Libya and not going to the big European leagues. But he says that he's also released a statement that says that the people speaking are not wiser than him. He knows what he wants because...
Did they hear the 10 million?
Yeah, they know. They heard the 10 million.
Just checking.
Maybe because people are not looking at it from the financial angle and for footballing reasons. But he's 28 years of age. I mean, he's played the World Cup. Yeah, he's been with the Black Stars.
He's come far.
He's come far.
And I think that at 28 years, he's nearing the end of his football career.
And if you know his story, he's someone that, stayed in Ghana for a long time before he got the opportunity to travel. So he's been through a lot of turbulent times. So this 10 million comes as a relief to him. And it's a good one. So Kwasisibo, the latest is that he's joined Libyan outfits Al Swelly in a move that will see him earn around $7.5 million. But the total package is $10 million.
Al Swelly. Which other Ghanaian footballer went to Libya?
We've had a lot of Ghanaian footballers play in Libya.
Did Asamoah Gyan go to Libya?
No, Asamoah Gyan went to the UAE and he also earned some crazy money in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know the Arabs, they will give you the cash. They'll give you the cash. So
anyway,
that's the latest.
It's a good news day
good news.
For our guys. Because Antoine Semenyo has his own good news.
I told someone yesterday that, yes, Kwasisibo moving for 10 million, it's good news. But I feel the Antoine Semenyo news is a big, big one for Ghana football. He becomes the first ever Ghanaian to be included in the PFA team of the season. Last season, the kind of things Antoine Semenyo did for Bournemouth and Manchester City was incredible. So yesterday the PFA Awards happened and Antoine Semenyo managed to get in there. Let's go through the team of the season. It has David Raya, Gabriel Magalhaes of Arsenal, O'Reilly and also Saliba as the backer forward. Julian Timber of Arsenal, Bruno Fernandes, who ended up winning the PFA Player of the Season, also in there with Declan Rice, Ryan Sheki, Erling Haaland, Antoine Semenyo and Igor Thiago of Brentford. So history for Ghana, Antoine becoming the first ever Ghanaian. So consider the number of Ghanaians who have played in the Premier League. Michael Essien, Tony Yeboah, a lot of these players have been in there. And but nobody has ever been included in the PFA team of the season. Even though Michael Essien ended up winning Chelsea Player of the Season, he wasn't included in the team of the season. Now, it's big for Antoine Semenyo, and we are all very excited that the Ghanaian is getting the recognition that he deserves. Soon, he will be on the podium to challenge for the African Football of the Year.
Amazing.
We are hopeful that he will get that as well.
Look how good he looks in that tuxedo.
Of course, Antoine, very unassuming if you see him. You wouldn't, if you see him in person, you wouldn't really think this is a footballer. But
I see.
But on the pitch, he's a beast, and I've encountered him several times. And very humble when he speaks to you and all that, has proper home training. And no wonder he's going far in his career because he's someone that is ready to challenge himself all the time.
Amazing. Well, congratulations to him.
Yeah.
And also to Kwesi Sibo.
Of course.
Yeah, this morning.
It looks like you are interested in the Kwesi Sibo story.
I'm proud of him, you know. I mean, we're sitting here with all fingers crossed, praying for Benjamin Asari to also get a very big breakthrough that will take him somewhere. That
Do you know yesterday we spoke to a source that works with him directly. They were at the airport. And the source told us that, do you know why the Libyan side want to sign him? They watched that game against England and they felt that he did a good job in stopping the English. Just one game at the World Cup. So you see how important and big the World Cup is to the careers of these players. Just the Libyan outfits felt that he was good in that game and they need to bring him. And also, they want to bid for the Africa Cup of Nations in 2028. So they want to attract a lot of stars. They've also signed Fiston Mayele of DR Congo, who is their striker. So a lot of these stars are coming to Libya because they want to use it for the African appeal to get the AFCON. So it's big for them.
When is the next AFCON?
The next AFCON is in 2027.
That's next year?
Next year.
Wow. Okay.
Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda.
That's come so fast.
3 countries hosting.
I see.
Then we play 2028. Then after 2028, we shift it to every 4 years.
Okay. And you said Libya wants to host?
Yeah, Libya wants to host the 2028 edition.
Okay, so the next one after that.
Yeah, the next one after 2027.
Okay.
So it's a project that they are on. Yeah.
Well, we wish.
So Antoine Semenyo and of course Kwesi Sibo, congratulations.
Well, as long as they keep sending the 10 million, we're happy to assist.
But the biggest of them all yesterday at the PFA Awards had to do with Bruno Fernandes, Manchester United's captain, getting 21 assists. And he was crowned the PFA Men's Player of the Year. And Khadija Bani-Shaw of Manchester City also being crowned PFA Women's Player of the Year. So Bruno Fernandes, it was obvious that he was going to win this one, considering the fact that he had broken that record, that assist record held by the likes of Thierry Henry and, of course, Kevin De Bruyne. Now, he was superb for Manchester United. One of the reasons why they qualified for the Champions League. He went toe-to-toe with Arsenal's Declan Rice, but in the end, it is Bruno who has won this award.
Congratulations to him
Of course.
to Manchester United.
He plays for Manchester United. To Manchester City, O'Reilly, also winning the Young Player of the Year. He was also, one of the revelations for Manchester City in a very difficult season. The last season for Pep Guardiola, he stood tall, played very well, and also was crowned the Young Player of the Year. So yesterday, the awards.
How young do you have to be a young player?
Under 20.
Under 20.
Yeah.
Okay. Like your real age.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about Caleb Irinchi.
Caleb, very inspiring story. Yesterday, he got 2 assists in the EFL Cup that they played. Now, you know how 3 Sports, we always do it. We had to dig deep to find out where he started. So we sent one of our colleagues to Bichim. He is with Akoma FM, Emmanuel Owusu, he went to the house where his parents live, and he spoke to them about how Caleb grew up and all that. So we have a special one on Caleb Renchi.
This is the Bichim RC Park, a dusty place where generations of children with dreams of reaching football's biggest stages have honed their skills. Years ago, Coventry midfielder Caleb Renchi was one of them, spending countless hours here, kicking a ball and dreaming of where the game might one day take him. When Caleb was 8, his talent caught the eye of Bashir Mohammed, a local coach with a passion for identifying and nurturing gifted young players. Bashir took the youngster under his wing, helping shape his early development until Right to Dream came calling in 2017.
In the near Pantan, no limit man my button, which I mean, press of it, the basic in them man button. Aquania, Colabia, Usano, a secret amount of white. Usano, no, Aquabian in near 10 pounds, in near 10, no self water.
From there, the journey accelerated. After joining Danish side FC Nordjylland in 2024, Renchi's rise was meteoric. He made his Black Stars debut at the Unity Cup in 2025, and a year later, became one of Carlos Queiroz's trusted midfielders, marking his World Cup debut with a goal against Panama. Then came another landmark moment. On 21st August, family and friends gathered at a viewing center in Bichim to watch one of their own make his Premier League debut against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, just days after becoming Coventry's most expensive signing. Among those watching was his mother, Janet Osaibunsu. She had supported Caleb's football dream, even when it meant allowing her young son to leave home at an age when most mothers would want their children close. But now, she feels that sacrifice was worthwhile.
Na ehame because the one na kwatena na minimum the okoye no. The empire na na the time echi. Na oye ni fa woko no. Ye ne kasa e oko na hono ye ma watena. Wo hwe na emwa wa bra.
Na ball fi ni je hu. Nti e man fan se on twas no omo ball. Na e mu wan se watimi abo akokoduru pempenso abadu sisi ya first no FC Nordjylland. Edidi ma oba Black Star ni mo mko World Cup na chi e na okwa akodu baby abadu sisi ya obi ehu a na nkura Caleb papa Renchi papa Imi post e kura wo kura enkwati begina se Caleb Renchi nti eno so ma ye ahwa pa.
For the friends and peers who witnessed his journey from the very beginning, seeing Caleb walk onto the pitch at the Emirates Stadium was deeply emotional. For them, this was more than a Premier League debut. It was the fulfillment of a dream they had watched grow from his small town. And perhaps that is what makes Caleb Renchi's story so special. Long before the bright lights of the Emirates, the Black Stars, the World Cup, and the Premier League, there was this dusty park in Bichim. A ball, a young boy, and a dream. Today, Caleb is living that dream thousands of miles away. And somewhere on this pitch, another child may already be dreaming of following the same path.
Such an inspiring story.
Yeah, from Bichim at the age of 11, had to be transferred to Right to Dream. You heard the mother saying that she was a bit scared because she didn't know. I mean, that is a typical mother. Oh, that is a typical mother for you. Yeah, I felt that because we've all been through that before. 11 years he went to Right to Dream. He stayed there up until 19. Then he was transferred to Nordjylland, went on trials. Nordjylland felt he's good. And today, he's living that dream of playing in arguably the biggest league in the world. That is the Premier League. So, amazing. And it's not even done yet. It looks like his ceiling is very high. He may get an opportunity to play for an even bigger club than Coventry. But parents are very, very proud of Caleb and what he's achieved.
Yeah, as they should be.
Yeah, they should
All
be.
right,
Yeah.
let's talk about our girls. The
Black Princesses, yes, we've not forgotten them. They would also be playing in the Women's World Cup. They're starting their journey this Saturday. Okay. They will be playing Ecuador in their first game. But then they played a friendly game yesterday against Lesla Wrocław, and they won by 4-0. Even though they are hit with a lot of injuries, about 7-8 players are not with the team. The captain, Linda Usu, Miriam Post, all these players have gotten an injury before the start of the tournament. So they've been ruled out completely. But still, Coach Charles Sampson says that he would go out there and ensure Ghana makes history by qualifying out of our group. We've never qualified out of our group at the Under-20 Women's World Cup. This is our 8th appearance, and that should be the main target. Qualify out of your group and see what happens. So they've played their friendly game yesterday, beating Sleza, Wrocław, and they'll be looking at Saturday what they can do against Ecuador. We are wishing them all the best.
Yes, very well, and thank you so much
Welcome.
for bringing us the sports news today. We're still waiting for that MG Football Cup football match.
It would come.
Do you play?
Of course,
I
I
play.
play.
The linesman?
No, I play.
Are you sure?
I play a lot.
Which position?
I'm almost every position. Yeah, I fit in it.
That is how you know that this person doesn't play. You play almost every position.
I remember, I think I was playing a church game and one of the women in the women's fellowship was, bro, you know me so but what's up, the right front back.
Why you play for the women's team?
No, I was playing with the elders, and one of the elderly women was what's up,
I said, Mike.
Of course.
And congratulations on facilitating that podcast.
Well, we did our best.
Yeah, tell us about it though. I mean,
it was nice, Mikel Obi.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the contact through Michael Otieje. I mean, he always pulls the plug for me. I'll say thank you to Michael Otieje, wherever he is this morning. He actually gave my number to Mikel Obi's manager. I had the call. I was Mikel's manager. They said we want you to facilitate everything in Ghana for us. I did my piece, and here we are.
How was the experience?
It was nice. Mikel coming to Ghana, meeting him, having that one-on-one talk with him. Someone that I've highly criticized in the past. Now meeting him face, I couldn't even utter a word. I was starstruck. Andrea, you also passed through, shared a few words, and I mean, he opened up to like he's never done before. He said a lot of big things that are currently making the news. But again, I'll say thank you to Michael Otieje. I'm very grateful.
And well done to you. Yeah. Well done to you. It was very nice to see that you were the one who actually made things happen behind the scenes.
Just that I'm worried because a lot of my people back home in my village, they thought that I've made some money because they saw me with Mikel Obi. I've had a lot of calls.
Oh, I see.
The
10 million is on the way.
Of course.
We will have the 10 million conversation very soon. It starts from somewhere. All right. And that's it for sports this morning on TV3 Newday. We still have more conversations for you on the show. Stay with us. And to all parents of first-year SHS boarding students, remember that EduPack is here for you. It's the Ghana Education Service approved and supported national SHS initiative. It's implemented by Prospectus Ghana and is now in progress across the country. So parents across the country, we've seen that you're already registering so that your children's trunk, Macintosh mattress, pillow, and your plastic chop box will be ready and waiting for you at the school of your ward on the day they report to school. So please don't delay or be caught in the usual last-minute traffic, market rush, carrying heavy trunks across the city. Please no. With EduPack, your child does not need to travel to school with these 4 items on day 1. Just register. Simply dial *713*821# or visit any ADB branch across the country or go to their website, edupack.gh. I beg your pardon, www.edupackgh.com. Make your payment and then keep your receipt, okay? So that your child can present it in school on the day of reopening and collect all of their items. All right. Stay with us. When we come back, we have more for you on TV3 Newday.
get into some education right now. Let's talk about reading of books, because great readers become great leaders, and reading has a way of shaping our minds, our societies, and every other thing in between. And I'm talking about the gathering of authors, publishers, educators, students, and lovers of literature under one roof. What are we to expect from this year's Ghana International Book Fair? We'll be knowing all about that soon, because Yvonne Bosman, who is the Executive Director of the Ghana International Book Fair, is here in studio, as well as Mr. Emmanuel Nyaku, who is a planning committee member. He's been working hard to make sure that this year's is a success. He's also here in studio. And he's a Nana as well. Inti Nana, to our studios this morning.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Were you just reminding me that the last time I was at the book fair was about 8 to 9 years ago?
Maybe more.
And Yampa, it's not.
Maybe more.
It's not true.
Maybe more.
But it feels like just yesterday.
Right.
So it means that this year I have to be there.
You have to.
You have to.
Oh, wow.
You have to.
Okay. So for those out there who do not even know, have never heard about the Ghana International Book Fair, what is it about? We just gather to read books, or what do we do?
So it's a platform where booksellers, publishers, writers, authors, everybody in the book industry meets to celebrate the Ghanaian culture through books. We also have other sessions like discussions, seminars, forums, workshops, training sessions for children and professionals alike. We organize the International Book Fair to promote the services that are rendered by the book industry people, and also to promote functional and transformational literacy.
Okay, so that's what we do at the book fair. But who come together, or who initially came together to put the book fair together in place?
Well,
Nana, you can go.
Okay. So industry players include authors, publishers, printers, booksellers, and some governmental agencies who are connected into book or the book industry. And to add to what I once said, we've been organizing this on smaller platforms in the regions, in the districts, and at certain occasions. But this one is an international book fair, meaning we are bringing together other industry players in the book industry from across the globe.
Oh, wow. So it's not just Ghana?
It's not just Ghana.
So people are coming from outside to partake in the International Book Fair. I was happy a few years ago. I don't want to say 8 because I knew 8. But anyway, I was happy that the kind of impact it made even on me when I attended. It was very insightful having young ones, you know, around you, reading, celebrating everything, literature. Is it the same thing, or we are even benefiting a lot more should we partake this year?
We are doing much more. This year, we are introducing the Ghana Star Reader.
Ghana Star Reader?
Yes,
Tell
a
us about
competition.
it. Okay.
This is a reading competition where we want to nurture young talents, in fact, young readers, to be able to read out loud in the English language as well as the Ghanaian languages.
As young as how old?
We are doing 7 to 14.
Okay. So for the 4-day period, we are going to have star readers for each day, or is just a competition for one day?
So it's a competition running through till Sunday, the last day of the fair.
Okay.
So with the first day, that is tomorrow, we would have children come in, register. They would have paragraphs prepared by, some are by the publishers, and we have the Bureau of Ghana Languages translate some of them into the Ghanaian languages, and we would ask the children to read. Who is a Ghanaian star reader who cannot read in our Ghanaian language?
Right.
We want our children to be able to read Ghanaian language books and to be able to speak our Ghanaian dialects.
So languages. would have Tree. Are we going to have Ewe?
This is our median edition. And so we want to, you know, manage the situation and see. So we are actually having Tree and Ga. We are hoping that when we go to the regional fairs, we can have the other languages. We are planning towards that.
Okay. So I see that we have the Ghana Star Reader and then Reading with Champions.
Yes.
Is that different as well?
Yes.
Okay, Nana, which one is the Reading with Champions?
Well, Reading with Champions is a forum where we invite personalities.
Okay.
Personalities that children see on TV, they hear in the news, they've heard the name of a star. They wish they can see him. Now we are bringing the star to the book fair. Come and then the star will be reading while the children will be listening. And that we believe will encourage the children.
It will. I remember my experience, so yes.
That's right.
It definitely will.
That is the Reading with Champions.
Okay. And then let's go over the activities for the 4 days. It's starting today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
So tomorrow all through to Sunday. So what are some of the educative activities that are going to be taking place?
Before the educative activities, we are having the opening ceremony to open the fair, where we are having an opening dialogue on reading and books. Some say there's no reading culture. Some say it's decreased. We want to find out where we are, what we can do to promote the reading culture, because the future is in the hands of those who read. We will be delving into that topic. Also, we would have the Ghana Star Reader, of which we mentioned. On Friday, we would have we have books to film. This is about book adaptation or book adaptations into film, where we are having Dr. Wale Okediran, who is a Pan-African Writers Association General Secretary, take the lead to discuss how we can move some of our classic books into film, where we are having the Unimac NAFTI also coming in with the students to partake in this particular one. So anybody who is interested can actually join, and we can push Ghana's literature forward. As we know, last year, a Nigerian book is now a universal movie. That's The Children of Blood and Bones. We want to see most of our classics by Ama Ateidu and the rest. We want to see them on the Netflix and all the streaming platforms of the world. So we'll be having that.
I think that's achievable. So let's all rally behind this and promote it the best way that we can. But I also see here that the opening ceremony will feature a national dialogue on books. And I do want to throw some light on that for us.
Well, over the years, we see that the government's involvement in this book fair and these activities is on the low side. So we want to bring people who matter to discuss, to throw light on the need for government also to involve itself in the book fair and what we intend to achieve. Now we want to improve or encourage on reading culture. So what is the government's role? If you leave it all onto us, the book players, we will not go far. So we are doing this discussion to actually bring the government and all those who matter in the discourse of this, what we want to achieve.
We do know that when it comes to education, especially for young people, there is no leaving out the parents and the guardians. What role must they play, especially in the next 4 days, to ensure that all children in Ghana, as much as possible, can partake in this international book fair?
So we are asking parents, we know the kids are home, bring them to the National Theatre. Bring them in the morning, give them some money to buy some food and snacks, and allow them enjoy a place full of books. Because as they see so many books, it sparks their imagination. We also have a few games where they would read before they play. So you read just a few paragraphs, you get to play. They have Minecraft, they have the esports, they have coding, they have puzzles, they have jigsaws, just a fun place. And I believe if children are in such environments, they get to remind themselves that reading can be fun and not just classroom and examination.
You've encouraged the parents and guardians to bring them, but how much are they paying?
Free.
Oh, it's free?
Yes.
So who then funds the International Book Fair if all of this is free?
That is where we want to draw government's attention to. I will be going to Frankfurt in October to attend a book fair. And I'm paying almost €200.
I can imagine.
For entrance fee.
Just the entrance?
Yes.
Your flight has not come.
No.
Your accommodation,
No.
your eating,
No.
nothing at all. And you're funding it by yourself.
Yes. And here we organize it and invite the public free.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So
that's why we must take advantage of it.
Yes. So it's free.
Okay.
Everybody coming is free.
And I heard you mention the National Theatre, right? Yes. Okay, give us the time.
We are starting 8 a.m. tomorrow, and we close 5 p.m.
Okay. Oh, so it's a full day.
Full day.
Just like you've just come, you drop them in school, they are there till evening for you to pick them up.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. National Theatre. So there you have it. 27th to the 30th of August 2026, National Theatre. We start at 9 a.m. in the morning, and then by 5 p.m. we are done, and it's over a span of 4 days. So if you miss day 1, you don't have to miss day 2.
No.
Day 3 is there, and then day 4. But let's talk about day 4. That will be the closing.
Yes.
Are there any significant activities to close the fair?
So in the morning, we would have, we would film some, we will screen some films.
Okay.
And then we would also have the finale of the Ghana Star Reader.
Okay.
And then we'll have the closing ceremony. By the end of Sunday, we would have our major discount sales by our exhibitors.
Okay.
So most of them will have slashes.
So there'll be discounts. I bought some books here. I remember I bought some books at a very great discount. I think about 4 of them. And there's going to be a repetition of it again. Wow. All the 4 days.
Yes,
all the 4 days.
Right.
Okay. Do you get to borrow maybe, say, a book on day 1 and return it on day 4?
Unfortunately, we cannot do that.
Okay.
However, we have the Ghana Library Authority coming for the fair, where they would situate a library right there. So if they do that, then I'm sure people can do that, but we can't tell.
Okay. Yes. Nana, your last words to parents who are watching and to the students as well.
All right. So I want to encourage parents and students to take this year's book fair seriously. You have the chance to meet the authors of the books that you use in school and the publishers who publish them. You have the opportunity to read lots of storybooks. Like Yvonne said, we are displaying thousands or not millions of books. At the fair, you have the opportunity to read any book that you see or you come across. I also want to emphasize that in the past, our book industry was starved with foreign books. So children read and then they are influenced by foreign cultures. Now we have publishers who have published Ghanaian authored books. Writers writing with Ghanaian cultural background. So let the children come, let parents come, get books and then read so that you get the Ghanaian feel. And then we know what our responsibilities towards our country is.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for coming. I'll do my best.
Please do.
I have to, because I feel I need to be there. The way you're reminding me, dear, I have to be there. So I'll do my best to be there tomorrow, 27th to the 30th of August 2026. So thank you to you, Mr. Emmanuel Nyako, who is the planning committee member. Great work you have done. And all the best as you go to Frankfurt. Go and learn a lot more.
As for the work,
she's done a lot of the work, right? All right. Yvonne Bossman, Executive Director, Ghana International Book Fair. Thank you so much. I will be there. I will be there.
Thank you.
I will be there. I will be there. All right. By way of some information, attention all businesses, institutions, and service providers. The National Identification Authority, NIA, informs you that the LI 2523 has introduced important changes to the way you verify your Ghana card. Now, under the new requirements, biometric verification is the principal means of confirming a Ghana cardholder's identity. When verifying an identity, do not rely solely on the photograph or physical appearance of the person presenting the Ghana card. Use the NIA approved biometric verification system. Do not photocopy, scan, retain copies or images of the Ghana card, or rely on ocular inspection alone, except where permitted by law. Failure to comply is an offense and shall attract penalties of up to 2,000 penalty units for a corporate body, and 1,000 penalty units for a partnership or others undertaking, payable by each partner or responsible person. If your institution verifies identities on board onto the NIA's identity verification system platform, prepare your systems and staff and comply with the new requirements before the transition period ends on November 2, 2026. For onboarding support, you can email ID verification at nia.gov.gh, ID verification at nia.gov.gh, or you can also call 0302 999 306, 0302 999 306, or 307 or 309, whichever you want to call at the end. NIA providing future solutions now. All right, we take a break. We'll be back to just wrap up the show. Thank you very, very much.
Top two, we got another one.
Right. Yes. Caught on camera. It's part of it. Reality TV. It's part of it. Because Harriet will not let me be great.
Don't worry.
Too much information.
Too much you are not.
Well, cheers to a new day of amazing opportunities. You need to stop disinformation and misinformation. Access e-copies of Daily Graphic, Graphic Business, The Mirror, Junior Graphic, Junior Sports, and Graphic Showbiz on the go everywhere you are. Download the Graphic News Plus app and subscribe now. Enjoy a great day from Graphic. All right. Now, I think that we can get into birthdays now.
Yes. To all our birthday celebrants today, we wish you a very happy birthday. Afi. This is our first birthday celebrant for the day. She is a queen, Manya Dede of Accra. God bless you. And that is from our resident mischief maker, Roland Walker, to you. Officer Abdul Karim, CID of Itiwa West District Police Station. We pray that God opens bigger doors for you. Amen. And that's from Edith to you. Patience Turu, God bless you, from your husband. ASO Wisdom Kujo Ametepe, Ghana National Fire Service Electoral Commission Headquarters Fire Station. God bless you, sir. To the yin of my yang, God bless you. Hey, but yin yang, you didn't mention your name. Happy birthday to you. You're blessed and highly favored. And that's from your wife, Yaira. Love you forever. Amen. CEO of Mac and C, Madam Felicity Mansa Fleko, aka Mamaga Anyitranono. I hope I didn't murder that. Anyitranono. Wishing you good health from someone special. Lawyer Patrick Fafali Azamati, God bless your new age. From Richard Azamati to you. Reverend Isaac Edumwa, head pastor of International Word Inside Chapel. God bless you, Daddy. Nana Amaletu, wishing you all the very best from your CGSL friend. Hanson Osebonsu, God bless your new age. Amen. Madam Lydia Mensah, a.k.a. Sister Mami, happy birthday from all your children to you. Christina Dennis, may the Lord's face shine upon you. Amen. CEO of Ultimate Grace, happy birthday to you, sir. Mrs. Kote, she has a very, I don't know, stern motherly look. I love this picture. You remind me of my mother. Happy birthday, Mrs. Kote. You made me smile this morning. This is from your son, Edwin, going out to you. Lovely photo. Brian Ansa, from Mommy and Daddy, God bless you beyond measure, little one. Happy birthday. Kathy, happy birthday. God bless you from your loved ones to you. Chop Life, from 0 to you. Apostle James Kwabnasari, area head of the Kasua area of the Church of Pentecost, Sons of God, march forward. God bless you abundantly. From Lawyer Vida Ichiampong to you. Mrs. Evelyn Emefa Latte of Adenta, wishing you peace and grace from your daughter Belinda. And to GCPL Paul Natre Yohonu of the police NHP unit in Accra, wishing you peace and love from Na Komle, your wife, going out to you. And that's it for our birthday messages today. If it's your birthday and we didn't get a special wish for you, still know that you are special and we're wishing you a very happy birthday. Happy birthday to, we have one more.
We have
Mr. Kumaji, happy birthday to you. You are 60 years old today. We wish you well. That's it for today.
Yes,
that's our time. It's 10 o'clock.
Yes, please, we have closed. Now the day is over.
Now
the morning.
The morning.
Yeah, the morning. Yeah. The day is beginning, but the morning is over.
Yes.
Enjoy the rest of our program. We'll see you tomorrow.